telling you, bro, I was really surprised, and even when this isn't spoiler, so you guys won't even know what we're talking about. Like when they're locked in their rooms, Hector.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, even that part itself, the way that you get out of the room depends on the choice that you made earlier in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's two different ways to get out of it. It's amazing. I love the fact that they incorporated all. They really gave us some RPG elements, and I'm telling you, that's why I was so impressed with it. I was like, this just doesn't get talked about enough. Anyway, it's $30 on Black Friday, man. It's worth every fucking
more incentive,
penny.
yeah, more incentive for sure. I think we just got Soul back here.
Yeah, I'm back. That's my bad, guys. I don't know what the fuck happened.
No, you're good, man.
All right, yeah, we're live. So, Macho, you want to check everybody's sound?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Cool. Also, there's there's a version before I disconnected. There's a like a 30-second podcast up already because like I started recording and then yeah.
So delete that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, sir. Dance, monkey, dance.
Well, I was at GameStop yesterday, and Resident Evil Village was looking tempting, man. It's looking tempting.
$20 on Black Friday. $20 on Black Friday. Wait a bit. Wait a couple of weeks.
Hey, broski, come on, man! You gotta get on that Resident Evil when you can. Then on Black Friday.
Village is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, so dude. But Macho and I think Macho got the platinum. I was getting it, but I was like, I got into a low. I was like, I played too much. I'm gonna give it a break. But I had a blast, and this man over here, being a waifu, nowhere. He needs to play that game. He needs to play the Lady D experience VR. 9-foot squash me, please. Simulator.
Yeah, I think you should. And then there's also the mansion, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
What an incredible mission that was. You should, man. You should definitely play it. Dude, my first playthrough was like 16 hours.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that would probably be mine too, because I take a long time with these games. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Every nook and cranny. Took me like almost 20 hours to get through the first one, but it's because here's the thing. Once you give me a collectible, I'm gonna try and find them all in my first run, but I'm not gonna, kill myself over it. But I will take my time, and I will look everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And that mansion it's the one that took me the longest.
Yeah.
It was truly mad Resident Evil 1 vibes, So good.
Yeah.
So good.
This was a like a Resident Evil discovery year for me. Like I never played.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I
Me
never
too.
played 2 or 3, and then I played both of those for the first time this year. They were really great.
Me too, man. Me too. That's how I was. Yeah, I played 2, the remake, when it first came out. I played like a few hours, into Leon's campaign, and then I never finished it, and then I kind of just shelved it.
Yeah.
And then this year, a couple months before Village came out, I was like, man, I really need to get into this, right? So I played 7. Usually I always avoid horror games, because I'm admittedly I'm a big bitch when it comes to horror games.
Yeah.
So
Hey, look, Soul is too.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, yeah. But then I played 7 and I loved it, bro. It was so good. God damn, it was good.
It's so good,
Woo.
man.
Yeah.
I platinum that shit so hard. I love it. I love
By the
it.
way, we're good on all fronts on sound. So you maybe had a heart attack, bro, because you labeled it as episode 38, and I was like, wait, which one did I just delete? And I was like,
oh shit.
Oh, I hope I didn't delete episode 37. We're on episode 37. Get your numbers right, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
Hey man, I had 6 hours of sleep, man. My brain is barely here right now, man. I'm just here so I don't get fined, man. That's what it is. All right, man. We can. Wait a minute. You said, is it 38?
No, it's 37. We're on episode 37.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's get started then. I'm excited for this one, man. I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
Same.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about what I've been playing. All right, guys. Welcome back to the 37th episode of the DualShock and Sense Podcast. I'm your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined as always by my two co-hosts. I got Walt. How you doing, man?
What's going on, y'all? Here's the thing. Not much manga, but I'm still the manga maniac. And today, it's all about video games. And it's a special episode. We got games, we got special guests, and we got smoke. So I cannot wait to get into the weeds of it. Really excited.
Yes, sir. We also got Macho. What's going on, man?
How's it going, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. It's a good week, man. It was a long week, but it was a good one. We got some great stuff to talk about, and we also have a very special guest, one of my personal favorite people on Twitter in the podcast gaming space. Sol, you want to introduce him?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Speaking of guests, why don't you introduce yourself, man, from the Backlight Chronicles?
Yeah, sir. Thank you guys for having me on. My name is Mo. Dr. Mo Kalmo. I was trying to figure out how to follow up you guys' intro, man. Master of manga, King of Kingdom Hearts. I was like, oh shit, dude, what the hell do I say? I'm from the Backlog Chronicles. Oh man, but yeah, dude, I'm happy to be here with you guys, and first time on the show, and I had Hector before, and I'm very happy to have met him and you guys. So let's get this going, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It won't be the last time either, man.
No, definitely not, man.
You wanna go ahead and plug the podcast, man?
Yeah, sure.
Give some deets on it. What's like the background, origin story? What's going on?
Yeah, so we started this podcast, Machine Gun Mike, actually. We started it last year, I think around July. And we just, most of the time whenever people start podcasting, they just want to do this, the friends talking about video games in a natural way. That's really what I wanted. Less Billy Mays, and more of like just a natural conversation. And now we're up to 4 guys. We have Jordan, Roguelite AC, and we have Kevin came. We do it every Sunday.
Oh, you're botting a bit, my man. You're botting a bit.
What is that?
You're botting a bit, like you're scattering a bit on your voice. I don't know if it's just
Am I
me,
really?
but yeah.
Am I still doing that? Is this
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, hold on. Let me. You know what it is, too, man? I think I might have some stuff downloading in the background. Let me just double check.
Oh, you got that Halo Infinite beta in the background? What's going on?
No,
Oh man.
Come
on, man.
What the hell is first
Pain.
class trouble? Okay, let me pause this. Okay, there we go. How does it sound now?
First class trouble.
Yeah, I don't know why it's down. How do I sound now? Does it sound better? Or
Yeah,
what?
it sounds way better.
You sound
Okay,
way better.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad
okay.
about that. So yeah, we go live every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and just really shoot the shit, laugh, talk with people in the chat. It's a good time, man. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we're excited to have you on to talk about games because that is the most important thing, So yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. Before we get started, I want to remind people who are watching, go ahead and like the podcast. That would help us out a ton. Consider subscribing to the channel, man. We got more content like this every Saturday. So yeah, we greatly appreciate that. So yeah, let's as I say, before we jump into the podcast proper, let's talk about the games that we've been playing. Macho, I'm gonna. You guys gotta indulge me because I got a lot to say about this one game I've been playing, this new game I've been playing, and
okay. I haven't been checking on your PSN lately, so I'm waiting.
Yeah, so and I think you're gonna be happy, man. Yesterday I just bought Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh,
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, and I got a lot to say. I only have I think 3 or 4 hours into it. I started chapter 3, I think, last night. So like after the whole prison section. So I'll start by saying that last night I came home at 3 a.m. And you want to know what the first thing I did as soon as I got in my room?
Well, the first thing I want to know is what strip club you came from. If you're coming at 3 a.m.
Well, you
That's what I wanna know.
don't need to know what I was doing last night. That's not the point. That's not the point.
Was it Weenie Hut Jr.? Come on, just let me know.
Hey, that's crazy. I was actually just watching some SpongeBob compilations yesterday, but we're not gonna get into that. Answer the goddamn question, man.
He dodged it.
I was so distracted by what I was going to say that I didn't even hear what you said, so you might need to repeat yourself.
God damn, man. What's going on, man? It's the first 5 minutes of the podcast, man. What's going on?
Listen, it took me a good 5-10 seconds to think of this joke real quick as you were talking. So.
God damn it. All right. So I came home at 3 a.m. last night, and the first thing that I did as soon as I got in my room was boot up Guardians of the Galaxy, knowing I had to host a goddamn podcast in the morning. I went and played this. This is the reason why I got 6 hours of sleep last night. So I love everything about this game except for actually playing the game. That's my I don't like the combat, and of course this is a big caveat because I've only played 3 or 4 hours, so it might improve down the line, but as it is right now, I hate the way that Peter moves in combat. It just feels way too slow for me.
Well, are you playing on quality mode or performance mode?
Performance mode.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I played it on quality, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
I played quality the whole way through.
I'm actually doing my second playthrough on quality mode, and it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it may improve once I start getting more abilities for everyone, but as it is right now, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the combat. With that being said,
yeah, Mo actually just finished it, so he might have something to say about Guardians of the Galaxy too, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, I think the game is incredible, specifically the interplay between the characters, and I think the biggest compliment that I can give this game is that I found myself actively stopping myself from progressing into another cutscene or another combat encounter just so I can hear these characters finish their conversations. That's I feel that's the biggest compliment I can give this game. Because aside from maybe The Last of Us or God of War, with the God of War with the boat rides, right? I wouldn't get off the boat until Mimir ended his stories, for instance.
Me too, man.
Or Uncharted 4 in the Jeep, I wouldn't get out until they stopped having their conversations. And it's the same thing with Guardians, where I don't progress until the characters finish what they're saying. Which I think is really, really rare.
Yeah.
So also I'm not an MCU fan in the slightest. Macho, Walt, you guys know this. I could count the number of films that I've watched on two hands, and that's primarily because the constant quipping and the need to throw out a joke every 30 seconds. For me, it's always felt forced. Especially when characters are in fucking life and death situations.
Yeah.
But in here in Guardians, it all flows so naturally and feels so organic. You actually believe that these are just just characters and their personalities, and they're just all it's you're just seeing what happens when they're all thrown together in a single room.
Yes.
And as opposed to that Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man trailer just came out, right? And none of those jokes that Spider-Man was saying, he dodged an attack, he's oh, that was a close one. Iron Man, he hit these 2 guards with lasers, and he was you guys look good. That feels they're trying to hit a quota of jokes that that they need. Instead of Guardians, it's just so fucking natural, man. It feels so good. There's just a clear difference between I'm thinking about Marvel's Avengers. There's a clear difference between trying to be funny as opposed to Guardians, where it's just characters just talking and let's see what happens. That to me that's what this game has absolutely blown me away in that aspect. But yeah, that's sort of my impressions 3 hours in. I fucking love it.
And you're only 3 hours in, man. That dialogue and everything else just really, really gets so much better, man. Wait till you get into the heart of the story. You're gonna love it even more, for sure.
And it's like it's not even like just the Guardians themselves. Like I love Nikki, Corell's daughter. Like she was awesome, man.
Yes.
Like I'm so impressed with like just the writing in general with everyone, man. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
It makes me
agree.
more excited. That makes me want to go even more, man.
Yeah, I was actually talking a little before where again, I can't believe the stark differences in the amount of choices like that can change like your a complete path. And I was talking to Mo before where like I wasn't gonna spoil it for you, Jay, just to say like what it was here. But he experienced one chapter completely differently than what I did the first time. And then when I went to back on the second playthrough, I experienced what Mo experienced, and I was like, "Dude, that completely changes up the level."
Yes.
So
And it won't be the first time.
So here's like two things that literally as I'm playing it right now that are already different than my first playthrough, because like this is I just started like a new playthrough for just for the stream. I immediately, as the game started, I immediately left my room, talked to Drax, talked to Rocket at his like table and Groot, and then went to Gamora. Immediately, like I picked up some bracelet in Quill's room, and Gamora came into my room. That didn't happen my first playthrough.
Same, yeah.
And then I went down to talk to Drax, and then I picked up it was like some voice translator thing, and then Groot came down to talk to me. That never happened, my first playthrough. So like already like there's I like that. I didn't know that that was like this type of game. And like I was walking, I was following Nikki, and she was like, okay, we have to go this way, and then I went like the other direction to like find the components or whatever, and she's like, really, Peter, like you're gonna ignore me? Like, come on, we have to go this way. Like, I just it makes it feel like much more, like realistic, right? Like the world is reacting to you when, it's really cool. But yeah, I'm excited to like what you were saying about the different choices and stuff like that. I'm excited to see that more. Yeah, because that's already sprouting up with like specifically Nikki and Corel, where I sided with Nikki like the entire time in that like elevator conversation, and yeah, I helped her out. So and then it said like on the top right of the screen, like Nikki trusted you enough to like do this or something like that. Yeah. I didn't know that was this type of game,
man.
Yeah,
that's gonna help you a lot, man.
Telltale shit.
Yeah. So
it's great. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and honestly, man, like I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up on my short list for game of the year, and I would be shocked if this game doesn't get like a nomination for like best narrative or something like that, like for the characters alone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
no, I agree.
That's my thoughts on Guardians, man. Macho, you were right. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I wasn't joking when I was saying I was blown away by it, man. And then again, I'm on my second playthrough, and my fiance's actually next to me, and she's like really enjoying just watching me play because these characters have a banter that's like magic, and that's why I compared it a lot to Final Fantasy VII Remake when I was first playing it, because Final Fantasy VII Remake has that same ebb and flow in the dialogue and when these characters talk and how they react to each other and what you're doing. It's not as intricate as Guardians, where they're reacting to in Guardians, they're actually reacting to what you're doing and how you're exploring. Yep. When like Rocket is like making fun of you for saying before that that's a dead end and you go anyway, he's like, you stupid asshole, like I told you there's nothing there. Like, But the thing is, like, if you turn the camera around and look down, there's actually a chest that you can unlock.
I did that.
So I love how they implement that in this game, and it goes even beyond that to the point where I was even surprised last night, where I was like, wow, this completely changed up how I even navigated a level.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that to me, that's like super cool, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Very impressive, dude.
Yeah, and then last thing I'll say is pretty like I feel like in terms of like lip syncing, like just the characters' lips moving when they talk, like goddamn, this is like as good as it gets in my opinion. Like it looks pretty damn good. Like I was blown away by right when you boot up the game and Peter's just kind of like staring at himself in the mirror. I was like, God damn, this is like like Naughty Dog level in terms of like.
They did a
Yeah.
very good job with the facial capture. It's excellent, man.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, the only game I'll say that actually contest with that is, and that's because of technical reasons, where sometimes like the lips or even like the lines will go out of sync with the actual lines. That happened a couple of times for me in my playthrough. The only game that I would contend with it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, where like that felt like everything was like really pinpoint on par with like lip syncing and facial capture animation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy comes like super close as far as like that pristineness that you don't really see in games a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Guardians, man. I can't wait to play more. So yeah, what about you guys? Walt, what have you been playing this week?
Man, so interesting week because I haven't really touched new games. However, one of these nights, all of a sudden, I literally was just sitting watching YouTube videos, and I had just the sudden urge to play Hitman because I never had played Hitman.
Ooh.
But when I look at the starter pack, because I had downloaded the Hitman 3 starter pack, but I'm like, you know what? No, I want to get through the other ones. And it's funny because Mo was mentioning earlier how he did play 1 and 2, but he didn't get to 3 because he had, he played what he had to play and he couldn't just go forward. But in my case, I am starting with 2 because although 1 is on sale and I can get that access pass on Hitman 3 bundle, I'm getting through 2, and then I'll get to 3, and maybe eventually I'll get to 1. Because right now my focus is to get to 3 because I know how much you've praised it.
Yeah.
And I truly want to consider it for maybe a contender game of the year because that's how it's seeming. If 2, I'm having a blast with 2. If 2 is this good, I cannot imagine 3.
Yeah.
3 is going to blow me away. So,
I haven't played 2 yet still, but 1, just from consensus what I've heard about 2, 1 has the worst levels in the trilogy. But it's still a fun time. Like Paris is obviously like a level that you have to experience. That's a fucking incredible level, top to bottom.
It is.
And Hokkaido, I think it's called. It's like
Yes.
yeah, that's
Hokkaido's amazing.
yes,
man.
that's a damn good level. Did you do the yoga kill?
Yeah, I kicked
Yeah.
that bitch off. Yeah. She was begging for it, right? I'm like, it's like the button prompts pop up. Yeah, the button prompts pop up. I'm like, come on, man, I have to. I'm like, there's other cool ways to kill her, but now let me just get this over with now.
I had to as well. But yeah, obviously there's great levels in Hitman 1, but from what I've heard, 2 surpasses it, and then 3 is also like really, really damn good. But yeah, I'm excited to hear your thoughts more.
On 2, let me tell you what I love stealth games. And what I was missing so much from, the stealth game of my life, which has always been, back in the day, Assassin's Creed for what it was but the changes that it went through, I was urging to get back into that, the stealth mentality and truly have options when discovered. Because lately with when I played Valhalla, which I've tried to give it another shot because of the open world, and I enjoy that world in particular, and I like the themes and whatnot. Once you get discovered, you're more incentivized to just button mash and just hack and slash enemies than you are to hide again and try stealthing again. And with Hitman 2, if you get discovered, the game is like, okay, these are like 10 options you have right now to avoid further conflict. Which one do you want to choose? And I love that. I love it. There was a moment where I had a bowling ball wasn't a pool ball in my hand, and I was just walking. It was not suspicious. I could pick it up. It was not an illegal item, and I'm putting away a body into a container. And someone looks at me and they're standing on the other side of the door's open, and I go to eagle eye mode or whatever, and I see that no one's looking, and I grab the pool ball, I throw them as hard as I can to the head, and you just see him bonk, it just falls right there. I'm like, okay, you go into the container too. It's so if you're quick on your feet, it rewards you so much, and it's so much fun. And let me tell you, man, I'm kind of looking more forward to the James Bond game that they have planned, IOI, because the way that they nail the hitman, just assassin feel. Imagine that with the suave nature of 007. The what I'm sexiness. It's sexiness because what else is Bond? Bond is
sleek, sexy. Yeah.
That's so fucking funny, man. We literally just said that Sunday on the show. We said sexy. We said IOI. That, like literally verbatim. Because we got into that conversation too. You're hitting all the fucking right notes, man.
It's suave. Because you know, the only 007 game I ever played was on the Wii. It wasn't sneaky or sexy. But I love the idea of you infiltrating and you disguising yourself.
Yes,
and it's a masquerade, and you have to, persuade this person. And dude, with Hitman, I'm scratching that itch I've had for a while. And let me tell you, this is the most fun I've had in a couple of months with a video game. Not that Sons of Arise wasn't fun or Kina, but in terms of discovering a game that I had there for so long and knowing that I'm having such a blast with it. I cannot wait to touch on more of my backlog. Yesterday I downloaded Sekiro again because I'm gonna get through it again, like I mentioned last podcast. I want to do the New Game Plus. I'm gonna buy. I don't know if I want to do it to myself, but I'm gonna buy Dark Souls Remastered, the first one, just to get a sense of how good Elden Ring will be. With one of the more janky experiences of FromSoft. Dude, I'm having a blast with it, man. That's been pretty much what I've played mostly all week, and probably later today or tomorrow I'm gonna be copying myself SMT5 and getting through that because I cannot
hear good things about that one. Hear good things about it, dude. Except it doesn't have heart. That's the only thing I heard. It's a bad thing.
I listened to shut the hell up, Macho. Listen, man, I listened to a bit of a soundtrack from SMT5, and bro, I'm ready for some demon time. I'm ready for the hardcore experience of having no heart and having no soul, because that's what SMT is all about. But yeah, man, Hitman, I'm excited, and if it's this good, truly, I'm already seeing Hitman 3 like. Probably number 2 per game of the year this year. Because right now, so far, the only one that's remotely close in my taste is Returnal. But we'll get into that later. But that's me. That's me with Hitman this week, and gotta get through it more this weekend.
Macho. Speaking of Nintendo. I ain't gonna hold you, man. That Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl looking nice, man. I might.
You might get that old ass Switch, huh? I got the hookup. Man. Let me know.
Hey man,
I know some of that GameStop.
Hey man, I'm licking my lips looking at that price right now, man.
bro, no cap. Before Macho, you get into your stuff, and Mo, gotta tell you, Jay, listen to the remake soundtracks that they're putting out on YouTube, dude. They are doing a beautiful job with this remake. A lot of people are complaining, the chibi models. Oh, the chibi models. Dude, shut the hell up.
Apparently, we'll see. We'll see.
Which game? I'm sorry. Which game?
The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nintendo problems, Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not gonna actually buy a Switch for that. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We all say that.
I'm just saying, man.
Keep looking those lips, son.
Macho. What about you, man? What you been playing?
Yeah, I've been so I actually finished up Lost Judgment, and I'll just say from right here, man, that game It's so much better than the first Judgment.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of story pacing and just the characters and like the overall arching theme of it is not just about beating up bullies, which is one of the reasons why I was still in the game. I'll be honest.
Stay for the story.
The story was absolutely enthralling in the villains and anti-heroes in there. It honestly really made the main character Yagami, I feel like a better detective and just like a person that actually grew throughout this entire journey. Whereas in the first one, I didn't really get that feeling. I feel like more of a detective getting his feet wet, which is really kind of what it was. But this one where it's like he has the experience, he has his gang, and is more or less trying to figure out this bullying epidemic and like who's really the bigger players in this game. And it just wraps up beautifully. It ends on like such a great note, and it's honestly one of the best games from this year as far as when it comes to story direction. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, it has a buttload of side content where they could be games on themselves. Like the boxing mini game, it's so much fun. There's actually a dancing mini game, which is a little more bare bones, but still it's enjoyable. It has a really great side story with it. And I haven't explored too much into the side school story stuff, but from what I've played so far, I'm really enjoying what they have. And I think it's like if it's a game that you're worried about, like if it's going to be like worth your $60 or if it goes on Black Friday and $40 or whatever, it's 100% worth every penny. You're going to get so much hours out of this game, on top of like New Game Plus and like all this kind of stuff. But really, just the story is incredible. But the other game I've been playing is it's one that's been a hot talker, Jay, for the past week.
Oh no.
Forza Horizon 5.
Yes.
Oh.
I've actually been dabbling to Forza Horizon 5, man. And Mo, have you actually been playing it?
Yeah, I played a few hours of it, man. It's
cool. Yeah. We could tag team it here then, because and I'll hand out the baton to you because I'm not a racing guy at all. I'll just say right now, flat out. Yeah, like I love my Mario Karts. I love my Crash Bandicoot or CTR rather, and that's more or less to my extent. And I don't care about cars. I don't care about how the engine fucking sounds or anything like that. Like I could really care less. But playing Forza Horizon 5 in the beginning hours, I satiated my curiosity of like what this game was, and essentially what it breaks down to is like an open world racing game with a bunch of different events peppered out throughout the Mexico map, and you're gonna get different vistas. You're gonna get the jungles, you're gonna get the beaches, and the suburban like areas as well. So there's a lot of variety in there, which is really nice. And in terms of content, you get the same amount. Where like you're not just racing. Essentially, that's what you're doing, obviously, because you're driving. But you're essentially not just racing. You're actually getting your completely different challenges. And one of the best things that it does is, I feel like I haven't experienced in a racing game, maybe because I haven't really played a lot, but it gives you a lot of the carrot on the stick. Like goals, right, Mo? Where like they're giving you like achievement after achievement.
Oh yeah.
Right. So so break it down a little more for me, so like so I can get a little bit of your input here.
No, you're even getting you're getting XP even as you're driving. I mean, depending on what you do. I mean, you could be doing a simple drift around the road and you'll still get points for it. The game itself is amazing because it's more of it's not a simulator. It can be a simulator if you want it to be, but it's tailored more to be an arcade racer, and arcade racers usually are just more approachable, especially for people that aren't into racing games. I've never really been into Sims, specifically like Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport. I've never really been into them, but I've always loved arcade racers. Like my favorite racer is Burnout 3 Takedown. Like to this day, it's my favorite. And with this game itself, man, I don't even know where to start. It's a huge, beautiful, expansive world. I mean, the visuals are stunning. It has one of the best intros I've ever seen in a video game. Just the way that it introduces you to, different cars, and different types of cars and different landscapes. It introduces you to road racing and it introduces you to off-road racing. I mean, it's
it's cool. It's cool.
Really, really cool. And me personally, I wish there was more of that adventure style, because they do have that in the game. I mean, there's like there's missions where you drive through sandstorms. There's missions where you drive through a lightning storm, and those are really technical showpieces for the game itself. On top of the game itself being just beautiful. I don't really pursue whenever I'm driving around, I don't really pursue the like all of the racing, the racing events. I mean, even though it is a racing game, but I try to do like things that fit more like my style, like off-road racing, because I unlocked the Warthog, right? Like I like you, I'm not really a big car guy. Like I mean, I don't care about paying so much money to unlock like a McLaren or whatever it is, dude. Like I had a voucher. There's a voucher that comes with the Ultimate Edition, and it allows you to unlock any car in the game, right? So I unlocked they have the Warthog from Halo, and then I just I've been tuning it up. And why? Because I just want to drive around and I just want to, I don't want to be restricted by the terrain, depending on the car itself. But there's a lot to dive into with Forza, man. It's very, very approachable for anybody who's curious into racing games. It's beautiful. It controls very well. There's so many different things for you to do. There's a battle royale mode. There's events that are happening freaking every hour or every day, to keep you engaged. It has a big community, obviously. Yeah, I think if you're even interested in arcade and in racers themselves, and you're not really into the whole, simulator, the simulator type of thing, I think you would really enjoy it. I really think it's an excellent entry for anybody who's racing game curious. Definitely.
Yeah, I have to concur with you, man. Like honestly, it's something that I wasn't expecting. The thing is, when I first played those couple hours, I was still a little hesitant. I'm like, all right, I'm not really fully committed, but I can understand, because actually one of the tweets that I saw, which was from Dash, who's another friend of ours who hosts a podcast on these YouTube streets here. He described the game as like basically Forza Horizon 5 is practically Pokemon for car enthusiasts. And that just makes so much sense for what this game is, but it's a little bit more than that, because you're doing so much and then to unlock different cars. And the thing is, like, I'm actually having fun with it too. I didn't expect to have as much fun with it as I am now. And what won me over actually was last night, when I was just drifting around and doing some races and just kind of exploring the open world I unlocked by really the car that I always wanted, which is a Camaro. Once I unlock that and I actually enter into a race, and I love how the game kind of like puts in like your friends list for just to fill out like the roster of the people, even if they're not really like they're playing. It's more like their AI that's playing. But for some reason, Miss Riley Reid, famous actress on the internet, was playing in my game last night. And of course her name had to be Riley Reid 69. And I was like, where did this game get this? Like, what kind of racing roster did I run into where I'm racing against Major Nelson, a couple of my friends on Twitter and YouTube, and then Riley Reid. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I didn't even know Riley was even into Forza Horizon. But she is. Good for her. So I love that randomness about this game. Like I have a story to tell about this game, and I think that's what makes it kind of really have a different kind of magic to it that I haven't really felt with like certain other games. I wouldn't really still necessarily like call it game of the year. But maybe that's just more me because I'm not a racing guy or anything like that. Maybe it doesn't really scratch that itch for me. But I would say I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm actually really enjoying the game way more than I thought I would. As a person that's not into racing games or car games or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Oh yeah. So that definitely, again, really, it's credit to the developers themselves for being able to, make it satisfying for not just enthusiasts, but also for newcomers. It's very, very hard to be able to satisfy both, both types of fan bases for a specific type of genre. So
yeah, for sure.
It's awesome, man. Oh yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
it's
it's kind of insane. Just like how like I can just literally I haven't played for like 2 or 3 days, so like I don't remember all the controls. I don't remember exactly all the systems, but I just jump into it and I'm playing for another 2 or 3 hours because I'm just exploring.
Yes.
Or I'm just playing a race or whatever, and that's how accessible it is.
That's the perfect type of game to get into with your friends in a party chat when you don't feel like investing into a story or into because usually whenever, obviously, if I'm playing a game that's like narratively driven, I usually don't like to be in party chats. I'm kind of just on my own doing my own thing. But if you want to get into a party chat and you want to play something like this, it's perfect, man. You can just drive around, do so much different shit, and it won't affect your enjoyment of it at all. It's an amazing game, man.
Yeah, it seems like the perfect podcast game for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In a
Yes.
sense, yeah. Now you're probably gonna get that Xbox console.
Oh man.
So getting all the consoles today.
Oh man.
But it's good, man. I've been playing a bit of that, and obviously Lost
Is it
Judgment.
on Game Pass?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course, yeah.
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
baby. You know I'm gonna do this next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
No,
the
it's
best,
good,
the
man.
best, the
It's
best
good.
deal in gaming, man. Come on now.
Hey, man. You know how it is.
Hey, Mace. Folks out there.
Oh man.
No, but I've been playing a bit of that, and then the last thing I kind of dabbled into Tuesday night was it's a little popular game, and I think you guys would be jealous I'm playing it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh nah, don't say it.
Elden Ring in
Oh.
feudal Japan.
Oh man. All right, go ahead.
Feudal Japan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Elden Ring in feudal Japan. I've been playing it. I swing my sword. I'm having a good time. 60 frames boost, all that.
That don't make sense, man. That don't make sense. Just say the name of the game, man. Just say it.
Yeah,
Don't get cute. Don't get cute about it.
Yeah, I play a little bit of Sekiro to fuel my to cure my depressive state. I'm not playing Elden Ring.
Yeah. you tried to fill the void in another way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, listen, man, it's real depressing seeing all my friends out here playing Elden Ring, and they're like, it's great. I beat the first boss. I'm just like,
Yeah, good for them.
Man, I'm mute you ass.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. You trying to convince yourself that was Elden Ring in Japan, man. That's crazy.
Listen, man.
You're like guys. It's not that different. It's just like Elden Ring.
Close enough.
Listen, man.
Grapple
I've done worse, man. Where I'll put up the Elden Ring gameplay on YouTube, take my turned off PS5 controller, and then actually act like I'm playing it. So this is what I gotta do, man. That's what I gotta do.
Put some
crazy.
Bro, that's a depressing picture you just
That's
painted.
that's like the people taking their white routers that look like PS5s and acting like they got a PS5, man.
Yo, you know that meme where it's the kid that's looking at a podcast and he sits next to him like they're talking? And it's like, yeah, I'm here with my friends. And it's like a podcast playing in the back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Macho, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of sad, man.
It's all right. I accept it, man. I'm seeing a therapist next week about it.
Bro, let me tell you, I have a group of friends in Puerto Rico, and they're like 8 dudes. None of them got the code, and they all signed up. It is crazy. Like, no one in my circle, I can ask them, hey, how's Elden Ring? Nope. Sekiro's,
Yeah.
that's all we got. It sucks, man. But that gameplay, bro, oh, so delicious. I cannot wait. You were saying, Macho?
Yeah, but we'll probably talk about that. But in any case, I want to jump to Mo, see what he's been. I know he's been playing Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Yes, sir.
let us know what else you've been playing, man. What's going on this week?
Yeah, I finished Guardians of the Galaxy. You guys said a lot about it, and I told you guys even before we started the show just how impressed I was with the game itself, with the quality, and you guys also touched on the dialogue and the contextual dialogue, and I did the same thing, man. I wouldn't move on to the next mission until I exhausted any conversation options I had in the ship, and it's just it was such a pleasant surprise. It shot up to one of my top 3 games of the year. It's the combat. Give it some time. It starts out. I get what you're saying, but once you start unlocking more abilities, for the rest of your crew and for yourself, it gets a lot more fun. It's still going to be the same. You're still going to be using your obviously your blasters or whatever the hell they're called.
Right.
But once you'll be able to unlock things to do. There's going to be abilities for your blasters. There's 4 different abilities for your blasters, and each of them do different things. And depending on some of the enemy types, a specific ability from the blaster will be able to weaken them before you can start before you can start weakening them. So you're going to be using your friends, the rest of your crew a lot in the game as well, man. Because the more you level them up, the stronger their attacks get.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are going to come in very handy. But yeah, man, really you got to give credit to Eidos Montreal. Eidos
for
Montreal, they're amazing with their writing, and obviously they did the Deus Ex games, Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided. So
was that was that their last game?
Mankind Divided was their last game. That's correct. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been working on this one since, obviously, and they put a ton of work into it, and that's why we're crediting the dialogue so well, because it's the most natural dialogue I've seen between characters in a very, very long time.
Right.
I mean, I know Naughty Dog really did a fantastic job with that as well. They kind of introduced that, banter, that friendly, natural banter between characters. Not introduced, but I mean, they really mastered it.
Right.
I mean, and I feel like this is a very good step forward as well. And that game was just amazing. I stick with it, dude. It gets so much better. Yeah. Really, the RPG elements in it as well. And I started also, we were playing Forza. I started playing Forza last week at the early access. I picked up that early access bundle thing, and then I started playing it. And yeah, man, I mean, we've pretty much said everything we needed to say about it. It's fantastic. And I picked up Hitman 3.
Nice.
Again, I was telling you guys, yeah. I bought Hitman 3 last year at release, and then I played Hitman 1 and 2 for the first time to get to 3, and once I finished 2, I was kind of burned out at that time. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, let me come back to this, because I really, really want to invest my time into this.
Right.
And right now, to be honest with you, man, I'm looking for something to keep me busy, because I'm balls deep in the hype for Halo Infinite.
You're frothing at the mouth. Yeah, I know. I see you.
If you know me, and we follow each other and whatever, you'll know I'm a huge fucking Halo fan, man. And this is it's been a long time since we've gotten to be this excited about the series again. Unfortunately, 5's gameplay was excellent, but obviously, for lore junkies, like me, it really it fell a little bit short. In that department, in the story and in the story department. So everything they've shown so far has been fantastic, and I can't wait for that. I mean, it's crazy. The last time I was this hyped for a game, I'm talking astronomical hype, was God of War in 2018.
Sheesh.
And I play a lot, man. Yeah, I play a lot. I mean, God of War, Halo, those are my. Yeah, those are my pillars. In gaming for me.
The type of game that you'll be at the midnight release for.
No matter what. Yeah, for sure. And
gotcha.
Man, it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And that's it, honestly, man. That's I do need to finish Kena.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in the end game, dude.
Me too. I'm on the last boss.
So I got to that part where they pump fake you. I mean, they tell you, they're like, hey, make sure you got everything, you're ready, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ooh, okay, we're doing this right now. So you cross that gate behind the old man, in that whatever, that ritual area, and you get there, and it's like a pump fake. You see the final boss, but then he beats the shit out of you. I mean, that's
gotcha.
You know what I mean? And then it's just oh, hey, by the way, if you want to get to the final boss, now you got to go through these 4 portals or 5 portals. And I'm like, that kind of really, I love the game, man. I really, really was enjoying it. I mean? But once I got to that point, I'm like, oh my God, come on, man.
And the funny thing is that
and I put it down. I put it down at that point. I'm like, I got to come back to this, what I mean? Because I was so invested into it. But at that point, I'm like, God, that felt so cheap. It just felt like a cheap way to extend the game, and I'm sure the environments and the gameplay itself is going to be great in those. I did play that first portal. It's literally the first portal right next to the old man you talk to. I keep forgetting his name. But I have to get back to that, because it really soured me a little bit at that point.
And the funny thing is that at the end of each of those, because all those portals are little levels within themselves, little
gateways. Yes.
And that there's a boss at the end of each of those portals.
I fought one of them, man. He was fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the bosses in the game were no joke. I mean, I got through them. I mean, some of them were, dude, especially the lighthouse one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that one was brutal.
Yeah, she's tough. And then once you finish all those bosses, you go back to that room with the guy who kicked your ass.
Yeah.
Then you have to fight him, and he's probably up to that point the hardest boss in the game. And after you beat him, there's one final boss, which is the one that I'm stuck on.
Man. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, it's an amazing game, and it really took me by surprise in terms of what I thought it was gonna be, and what it ended up being. But man, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm ready to. I'm ready for that because, dude, I put a lot of time into it. If you check my playtime on PlayStation for the game, I don't even know how many hours, to be honest with you. I think you can look it up. You can look up somebody's playtime, right? Or no?
I
think so.
Yeah, you can. Okay, I can take a look at it now. Actually, let me see.
If you check my playtime on it, and that's still my first playthrough, and that's through one gateway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the thing, man. I got to a point. I'm like, man, I really need to be in the right mindset to come back to this because I don't want to. I don't want to hate.
It takes a lot, man.
I want to resent it.
Yeah. It takes a lot. It's draining because those bosses require so much out of you. So yeah, I sympathize with that, man. I think that's why
16 hours. You got 16 hours on that. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people are beating the game in like what, 12 hours or 14 hours or whatever, and I still have some ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play, but it's good to know that at least there's like the kind of like that long haul, because even like I experienced that in JRPGs where like it will say like this is the last dungeon, right? But then that dungeon is like 4 or 5 hours, Or even Lost Judgment did that, where like the last chapter, and I think I was like, it was really like getting to the climax, and then my fiance, she already saw like the entire playthrough, so she was like, I already know what happened. I asked her, I was like, so how long do I have? Like maybe 2 hours max? She's like, yeah, around 2.5 hours. That thing was like 3 or 4 hours, bro. And just because the one dungeon, that the last part that you're in was just a long haul of like enemies just being battered at you. And on top of that, you had the final boss, and I used all my health items thinking that was the final boss, and then there's another boss right after that. So I had to like tone down the difficulty because there's no way I was beating the boss on hard with no health items. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to know that at least Kena does have that, and now I can go in without some frustrated expectation, because that kind of stuff does irk me. Not gonna lie.
The game is again, it's very well made. Especially for a team of 16 people. You're playing through it, you're like, holy shit, like, this is incredible. Between the visuals and whatever. And honestly, man, the map is bigger than I thought. Everyone thought it was going to be this little cute game, where, like, no, it's not. Yeah, the art style is fantastic, and it's got a cute little heartfelt story, in it as well. But no, dude, like, these areas are big. There's a lot of game there for $40. I was pretty impressed with the size and the scope of it. And
me too.
if you're like you guys are Souls junkies, Hector, at least I know you are, so this will be right up your alley, man. They have like some challenges too, like side challenges that are optional that you can do, and some of those are fucking rough, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it, man. That's pretty much it. That's been it for me so far.
Cool. I concur, man. That's it's a pretty surprisingly, man, that game is deceitful in how difficult it is, man. I came into expecting, sunshine and rainbows is gonna be a cute little game, and then man,
no, hell no, hell no.
Like the second game, I think I was streaming it when, you guys remember when I was like screaming because like there was like one boss that kept killing me, man, during the podcast as I was playing it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, it's a really good game, especially for their first game, and for it being such a small team, as you said, Moe. Yeah, it's a pretty damn good debut.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that concludes the games that we've been playing this week. So let's jump into some of these topics. This is something that I feel like has kind of been floating under the radar, but I really want to get you guys' opinion on this. And that's the sort of like rumor of Beyond Good and Evil 2 seemingly like it's only a matter of time of that game being canceled. That it's like right now it's in like development crisis. So like, are you guys surprised by this? And if it does get canceled, like, would that bum you guys out?
Let me be you guys' takes. I honestly, I love the first game. I adore it. I have it on PC. I have it on GameCube. I have it on Xbox. On OG, and I have the physicals for it. It's a game I really love. But two, with everything that's happened over the years and how much is dragged out and how much shit we've seen, I'm at a point right now where I don't even care anymore. If they cancel it, like I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I wasn't like bummed about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I didn't personally like what they were trying to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, itself, because I felt like obviously we haven't played it, but just the size and the scope and what they were trying to do, I'm like, I don't know, man. This just doesn't feel like it's Beyond Good and Evil to me. It doesn't invoke those same feelings, you know, when I'm watching those trailers or the gameplay that I had with the first game. So if they even cancel it at this point, development hell, whatever it is, dude, just fucking can it, man. Just get rid of it and put your development time into something that's going to be worth it. Because I think Ubisoft knows that they're not going to make shit out of this game. They've already wasted so much money. Michel Ansel's gone, you know, I think he retired. You know what I mean? So he's, you know what I mean? So the creative brain behind the first game is not there anymore now for the second game.
Yeah.
And I just can it, man. Honestly, I don't care anymore. They've dragged this on for so long. Like, I mean, it's not even relevant to me. But I'm curious to see what you guys think.
And like,
yeah, I never played the first one. So for me, it's kind of just for me it's like Ubisoft just being Ubisoft at this point and not really making a really critical decision on like where they want to take their IP forward. Mm-hmm. And if it's not having to, obviously they're in the business to make money, right? But if it's not anything to do solely to make money, then they don't want anything to do with it.
That's the point I was gonna make really quick, was that this type of game clearly does not fit the business model or the games that Ubisoft makes now. You know, that's why Assassin's Creed Infinity is a thing. You know, they're
Far Cry would be a thing.
Yeah, because apparently Far Cry is going to be, the next Far Cry is going to be the same sort of like live service thing. But yeah, a game like Beyond Good and Evil, like in sort of Ubisoft's world, that's just not the kind of game that, you know, they're looking to make anymore. So yeah, I'm not surprised. If like, you know, when it was first announced, in 2017, if that game was supposed to be, you know, like heavily narrative focused, and then like halfway through development, Ubisoft came in there, they were trying to retool it to make it more of a live service, and then, you know, it obviously just didn't work. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were trying to do. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Wall, what about you?
Dude, this is a game, back when it was announced, that was my first exposure to that game when 2 was announced, and I never played the first one. And to be honest, the concept, the themes, the way that it looked, just the general idea of Beyond Good and Evil, it really caught my interest. It really caught my attention, and I was looking forward to finding out more. You know, with that initial teaser, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see more. But then months passed, years passed, and I eventually fell off. So for me, it was a soft reset. It was so low key, where by the time that they announced, oh yeah, Beyond Good and Evil, I was like, oh yeah, I hope they make it. Whatever. At this point, I was excited when the teaser, they succeeded in exciting me, but you know, as time went on, I eventually just gave up. I gave up on, just like many games, like what was that game, a Microsoft game or Xbox? It was a Scalebound. When Scalebound was first announced, I was hyped beyond levels for my Xbox. I was like, finally, I'm gonna have a game that I truly. Like, I hammered down my Xbox and I give so many hours aside from Final Fantasy 15. I'm going to be playing. And then, boom, they canceled it. So, but when they canceled it, by the time that they canceled, I was already off the train because so much time had passed. I feel like with these games, you have to hammer it down quick, because if you wait too long, by the time that you cancel it, you're going to leave people with a sour taste in their mouth, because they're not going to really look forward to your next announcement as much. I feel like announce it, and a year later or 2 at most, let us know, are we still doing this or not?
It's like the boy who cried wolf, right? Like with Abandoned, right? They kept doing their thing, and now no one is excited for this game or their next game, right? Because everyone's gonna be so skeptical about it.
And here's the thing: it was an exciting few weeks of an Easter egg hunt and theorizing, and we were having a blast. But that's it. We'll remember that. but are we really excited for the game?
No.
Not really. With Beyond Good and Evil, I saw the monkey, I saw the world. I was like, whoa, this looks wacky. This looks so much fun. But eventually, I was like, I don't even remember it. At this point, when I hear about it, I feel like it's almost a myth. I feel like I never saw that teaser. Like it never happened.
Yeah.
Like it was a fever dream.
I feel like the biggest thing, or like the biggest telling point that this thing isn't is probably gonna get canceled is the fact that this was announced in 2017, and it's been 4 years since, and we still haven't seen gameplay. Like each time it was at E3, it was just CGI trailers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
And here's the thing, with Ubisoft, I don't know if that works better. Because I don't think it does. When you announce a game and you slack that much in announcing and communicating, and you have other games that are just not hitting as well, but you have another fan base, and you just have this overall reputation. I don't think you can have the luxury of announcing a game, waiting 5 years, and then being like, oh, we're doing this with a game, and then expecting a positive or somewhat understanding reception. A company that can do that well and did it well and still did somewhat well in terms of numbers and critically acclaimed was Kingdom Hearts. Because when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and then they teased 3 at the end with whatever cinematics and questions they left you, people were waiting, I don't know how many years for 3, but when it came out, the excitement was still there.
13 years.
Look, Jesus Christ, that's like
it's like Macho has like a counter like in his room, like a calendar or some shit.
He has that villain.
Listen, man, I said you guys know I'm King of Kingdom Hearts here, man. I know the thing is like they pepper those 13 years with like very very much great games, to fill out the story. But the case in point where you're making, yes, we wait a long time.
I'm just
wait a long time for me number time.
I'm just imagining. Really quick, I'm just imagining Macho waking up every morning. He goes to his calendar and he marks off the day, and he sighs.
Listen, when that reveal happened at E3, man, it was all I ran around my room. That happened.
Little Macho, dude. I imagine Macho like that Assassin, that Batman villain, where he has a cut on his body for every person he's killed. But with every year that passed, he's like, another year without Kingdom Hearts 3. Slash. Bro, but with Ubisoft, you don't look at Far Cry and like, okay, this will keep me going until Beyond Good and Evil. You don't do that. You don't look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla and like, oh yeah, this is until Beyond Good and Evil. No, that's not a thing. With Square Enix, that's the thing. With Rockstar, even we'll get into that. That's the thing. With so many companies, even
don't say Bethesda. Don't say Bethesda.
Nah, bro. Nah, I don't even believe in Elder Scrolls 6. Now, when it comes to Square Enix specifically, look at with Final Fantasy 16. They announced it. They're peppering some announcements, some concept art, they're keeping you like on the know, like, okay, hey, look, it's still looking good. We're still making it, and it's been not even a whole year since they announced it, or 2 years. So like,
well, to that credit, though, Square Enix knows how to market their Japanese
100%.
games. As far as their
100%.
American games, they not even close.
But bro, like with Ubisoft and this game, it sucks, right? Because this is truly, and not because we're talking about it, this is truly one of the few games that I had no knowledge about, that when it was teased, it hooked me. Like out of nowhere, I was like, oh, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to see more, and I fell off, and it's disappointing. I feel like a forgettable announcement is worse than a bad announcement, because at least I remember Mighty Number 9. I remember these just god awful like experiences in terms of technical, gameplay or story, like, but man, it sucks. It's a sad story, and they should either just put it down now or commit. I don't know what they have in plan.
No, yeah, I think it's definitely getting canceled.
Yeah, the fact that we haven't seen it in so long. I mean, we still haven't seen game aside from like that brief snippet of like flight gameplay that we saw like in 2017, but like that was like behind closed doors. Yeah, the fact that we haven't seen substantial gameplay in how many years is insane. But it should tell you everything you need to know about that game.
Yeah, just put a mobile game out. Just put a mobile game out, and you'll be good.
It looked
that revenue
it looked interesting solely because it looked different from the rest of Ubisoft's offerings. It didn't look like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed or Splinter Cell. So yeah, it makes me sad that it's like now it's just okay. Let's go back to the well. Let's keep pumping out AC and Far Cry games and
let's go to live service. Let's go to Watch Dogs. Let's do all this, all these plans, all these free to play live service games.
I think the one like I guess quote unquote good thing that we can glean from this is that like if it does end up being canceled, at least this isn't another franchise that we have to see go through the live service treatment. So that's the one positive that I take from this.
I'm still scared for what they're gonna do with Avatar, but wait and see.
You know what that game is gonna be, man.
A bunch of Navi running around, gonna get with their friends, gonna go ahead. There's a world event in this area. Everyone gather there. It's like,
if you want your horse to be on fire while you're riding it across Pandora, you gotta pay $2 extra for that.
Dude, I'm gonna scream if they have Assassin's Creed costume that you can buy for that. I would honestly flip my lid. I would go to James Cameron myself, be like, "What? Have more authority on this game, bro. Please, don't let Ubisoft do their bullshit.
Stop making 5 other movies and just focus on this game." He's making what? He's like, he has plans for like Avatar 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, it's up to 5. Yeah, it's up to 5.
Jesus Christ.
I think you wanted to film them all back to back too.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. They've been filming back to back in like the past 7-8 years.
Ever since the first one came out, bro. With specifically Avatar, I hope it has the same vibes in terms of wonder that Guardians has. I haven't played Guardians, but if there's something the movies do is that Guardians introduced me to a world and a universe that I did not know, and I immediately felt compelled to look forward to, And with Avatar, I feel like you should do that with Pandora. Pandora is such an expansive place with so many tribes, so many locations, biomes. Like, make it 100%. Exciting. Make it exciting for me to dive into. Like, Ghost of Tsushima. We've seen, the feudal, the Edo. We've seen so many versions of just the Japanese ecosystem, whether that be in Japan itself, whether that be more centered around other Asian countries. But when it comes to Ghost of Tsushima, they made me explore. They made me want to look forward to these areas and the springs and the climbing and the mountains. Do that with Pandora, but that's a whole other can of worms. And I hope that Ubisoft just give me at least one good single player game. Don't just focus on live service entirely. Because I truly do enjoy their worlds. They're visually at least, and in terms of how big they are. But,
so yeah, I think that pretty much covers Beyond Good and Evil. I will say the kind of last thing that reveal. I think it was like the second trailer that they had at the following E3. That we found out that it was a prequel, and the sort of like Jade reveal of it, that was a really, really hype trailer. Even though it was just like CGI, that was a really hype trailer.
That was the best part, honestly. That's the best thing they showed since the reveal. Yep. Also, I just looked it up. It's been in it's been in development since 2012. Entered pre-production around 2016.
Wow.
Yeah. So let it fucking die, basically.
Then again, hey, The Last Guardian did come out. Maybe.
Yeah, but still, honestly,
also, this is something that I was thinking about when I first read this story, was that Michel Ancel, he was working, I don't know if he was like the studio head, but he was like one of the top people in that studio that was making that one PS4 game, Wild. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah, and then that thing got canceled and he went back to Ubisoft. So like I wonder if it was like a Michel Ancel thing or what, I don't know. But yeah, that was a funny little connection.
Well, they said, I remember, it could be as well, man. You know, I mean, they said like he was a pretty shitty person to work
That
with,
too,
from what
yep.
I remember.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but still, I mean, yeah, he's a shitty person, but he's still, you know, he's still a creative genius. It seems like, at least like, you know, from what he's done. So
Right.
you lose that. I mean, where do you go with the game?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just kill it, man. Kill the game.
I agree.
Put it out of its misery.
I agree. All right, man. So yeah, that's gonna do it for Beyond Good and Evil 2. Let's just jump into GTA, man, because I got some smoke for it. I got some smoke.
Oh, you and me both, buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. So
we both get our grills out. I'm ready.
So why don't you kick things off, man? Because we GTA the trilogy, the quote unquote definitive edition, released. And the biggest red flag to me, Macho, was that I noticed that no reviews have come out for this thing.
Nope.
No one knows how this thing runs on consoles either. Beforehand, and just very shady from the beginning.
It's been quite a ride this week. This is why it's been one of the most enjoyable weeks for me. I've been waiting for a little bit of crash and burn from Rockstar because of their energy as of late, man. I'm not one to completely praise all their games because while I like them for the most part, I think they're a little overhyped. And when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but I enjoyed what I played from the little I played of them with like cousins or growing up and stuff like that. With respect what they are, but regardless of that, Rockstar is in deep shit because not only did they outsource this remaster or this definitive edition to I think it was a team of 20 that obviously didn't have enough resources and enough input from Rockstar. Maybe there's a miscommunication, or the case may be. Regardless, this thing really is broken, and they charge money for it. Not only that, they took it down from the PC store page for like over 24 hours. I think you still can't buy it on the Rockstar launcher, or you can't launch it. So there's some people that bought the game, opened the Rockstar launcher, the game's not there because Rockstar took it down because of some quote unquote unintentionally included game files that actually happened to have files for a sex minigame that was in the game, but was taken out because Take-Two had like a whole lawsuit and everything that basically was saying like from other regions that you can't sell this game unless you put an AO rating on it. And obviously Rockstar's not going to do that because it's going to limit their audience and who can buy the game, stuff like that. So they actually settled on a lawsuit that was like they had to pay like more than $20 million. But this definitive edition came out with those files. So that's one of the reasons why they took it down, on top of like a bunch of other songs that are on there that we know they didn't have copyright license to anymore. Yeah. So they're in deep shit. And I'm saying, good. Give Rockstar the heat. Give them the smoke. I'm here for it. I'm eating my bowls of cereal like Ice-T, super happy. Oh, because man, Rockstar really needed a kick in the ass, and I'm glad this was one of those times. And on top of that, it had to be one of their known franchises that they're so famous for.
I just wonder like why does this keep happening? Like I'm not saying this is specifically a Rockstar thing, but I feel like a lot of these sort of like remakes, like they're just really poor ports, like really bad ports. And I'm like, all right, like for instance the Sands of Time remake thing that they're doing, like nobody liked that when they revealed it. And I'm like where's like I guess like the quote unquote like respect? Like, do these companies not care about like their old IPs? Like I just, where's the line of thinking with like choosing these specific teams to outsource? Like, do they know who they're working with? Like I wonder if like was the writing on the wall when they hired this studio to do the port. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just negligence, honestly. I think it's just pure negligence of your roots. Because they can port over GTA 5 3 times their cost, like three different generations, excuse me. But they have problem with 16-plus-year-old games.
Games that are that are running worse than they did on the PS2. Like, what? That's insane to me, man. And like, so I want to go through like the problems that people are having because it is fucking hilarious. There was this one picture, I think you guys have probably seen it too, of like I think Smoke. He's like riding on a bicycle, and his arms are all like Slender Man arms, man. Like the joints don't make any sense. Like I'm like, God, the rain. I'm sure you guys have seen that too. It looks like milk is fucking coming down from the sky. It hurts your eyes, man. Like you don't know what the hell's in front of you. Like, God damn, dude, it's insane. And like
bunch
there's
of bugs and
job,
glitches.
man.
Yeah.
That's a piss poor job. That's honestly.
top to bottom. There's like characters that were surprisingly more detailed in the PS2 version than they are in this version. Like there's this one character who is like a grandpa, and in the PS2 original, like very clearly he has like his hairline's receding, he has gray hair. He looks old, man, even for graphics back then. But in this version, like they gave him a full hairline. He has no gray hair. He looks like a Sims character, right?
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, it's insane. There's typos everywhere, which is just like what? Why? You know, like I don't know. It's crazy, man. Heaven forbid, man. Can you imagine if like the Demon Souls remake was like this? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's just like a clear like, you know, like, okay, people who like actually give a shit about, you know, their old IP, like the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. Like, no, let's actually take the time to give this the tender love and care that it deserves, as opposed to the GTA one, which is just like, let's just put it out there. You know, who cares?
And this is what we were talking about before too. We're like, this is exactly, we know what this is gonna be. But then when they put out that one trailer, I was like, wow, look at the visual overhaul. They actually did something. That's impressive. But then everybody was asking after that, where's the gameplay?
Yep.
And it never came out until now.
Yep. Now we know. Yeah, now we know why they didn't show any gameplay, man. Now we know why.
So it reminds me of a game that, although many people connected with it, they didn't show gameplay. Actual gameplay on it.
Does it rhyme with Biber Hunk? I don't know.
Here's the thing, man. With that game, at least there was some redemption at the end of it, in terms of now, you know, a lot of people are more receptive towards some of the tweaks that they made, and a lot of people connected with it when it came out. I did not connect with it. It's just that I had bugs that made the experience just non-tolerable. But it was still a game that had no expectations in terms of a franchise. When it comes to GTA, when you say GTA and at the dollar store across the street from Jim's house, you know that the 3 employees that work there, they're like, oh yeah, I played in my grandma's house when I was a child. Oh yeah, my cousin has that. Like GTA is like Goku. Mm-hmm. People know who Goku is. When they see anime, oh, that's Goku. No, you dumb, that's anime. That's another person. But they affiliate that. When your property is that massive, I think there should be more care and there should be more thought put into the development of a remaster of classics. This is not, we're not touching on Nico Bellic. We're not re-releasing GTA 5. No, this is San Andreas. This is Vice City. This is 3. These are games that literally are always on list of what are the top 100 games of this generation, or what are the top 50 games of this generation. And to make again, if another company did this, you would expect different things. But when it's Rockstar, when like Macho said, you know, Macho considers it overhyped or overrated, but the reality is, people look at Rockstar, they're hailed as like a titan among titans in video games. So when this is what you do to the classics, and not only that, look at the quality and look at the pricing. This is not, I don't think this is a $60 purchase.
That too. We didn't even talk about that.
This is not, even more now when you look at the result. They pull it out that PC. Like, what's going on? It's like they're backpedaling. Like, wait, not yet. We weren't ready. Wait, Jim, stop marketing it from this week. It was for next year. What's wrong with you? We still needed to include the DLC. It was not a $60 game. It's $70. Like, what happened? What happened during that last month that just made it all go so haywire? But and here's the thing: you go to Twitter, There's some cap. There's some people saying, "Yo, this is some like this top 3 of the year." I'm like, what? What you mean? Who are you, dude? No, it's absurd. I was close when they were announcing it. I was close to being like, "Oh snap! I enjoy these games a hell of a lot. I'm gonna pre-order." But when I saw more, when they showed the graphics and they showed how it looked compared to the old ones, I honestly prefer the old ones because the jankiness of the old ones and how stiff it looks, I feel like it goes better with that type of graphical fidelity than it does with like fresh coatings. Like what the character looks worse in this modern take.
It's jarring.
Yeah, it's jarring. It's like you're looking at claymation or something. Like what's going on? It looks so weird. CJ does not look good. He looks sick. I need to take him to the hospital. Not Orange Grove Street. This man was taken to fucking Orange Grove cheap. Like, what's going on? It's sad.
Yeah, it's yeah, especially for the asking price too, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Come on, man.
That's crazy,
Give me
man.
Bully 2 instead. Like, don't do this. Just put that money into Bully 2. Put Jimmy Hopkins in college. Make him a thug. Make him put him in a frat house. Like, make me experience college through the eyes of Jimmy Hopkins. So I can get to the different cliques, the emos, the bullies. Give me that life again. A remake. You know what? Remake Bully. Don't remaster it. Remake Bully. Do other stuff. Don't do this.
And then
Please.
I think the last thing I'll say is that we obviously they didn't peg this as like a full blown remake or anything like that. Like I think
it's a remaster, right?
Yeah, I think we all knew that it was a remaster, but at the same time we expect the game to at least like fucking work and at least like look. If you are pegging it as a remaster, then the upgrade should be noticeable, So like the fact that it is like in many instances like a downgrade and looks worse than the PS2 version is just like really really sad. Yeah, I don't know. These games deserve better. But it's
and
whatever.
Mo mentioned earlier, how we're Dark Souls junkies, and he was comparing with Kina, and back to the Souls, topic and theme with Dark Souls 1, the remaster. That's a remaster. When I consider a remaster, you're making an old game look better. You're not making an old game look new, if that makes sense. I don't want to see a game that's from starting the 2000s look like a coding of 2020 or 2019. Because the textures, they look synonymous to what you would expect a little bit of today's games. But when you see what it's on, when you see it's it's like looking at a horse wearing a human costume. It just like protrudes the human costume. It's like it doesn't fit. That doesn't go there. But it goes the other way around. You put the horse mask on the human costume. That's not what they did. That's not what they did.
Yeah.
It's jarring. It's weird.
But Moe and Macho, do you guys have anything to add before we move on?
Yeah, Mo, what's your input on here?
I see. Look, I don't usually like commenting on games that I haven't played, but just from what we've seen, about what a piss poor effort it's been. I pretty much agree with what you guys said, regarding everything, and this definitely screams like a cash grab, from the way that they did it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been seeing as well online is about how the games just really lost some of their souls. Like, one of the reviews I read, like for instance in San Andreas apparently had like had fog around it, right? And that was really to give you like a sense of the size of the map.
Right.
Well, obviously now like the fog is gone, so you don't get that, you don't get that scope anymore that we used to have. And the thing is too is like you got to remember, man, these games are older. The way I look at it is they're not going to invoke the same feelings that you had 15 years ago.
Yeah.
At that time they were special, they were big, they were I don't know if you want to call them revolutionary or not. Grand Theft Auto 3 was. But we've just gotten so many advancements and so many better things since then. And I just felt it's not to excuse Rockstar from what they did, because it was definitely a piss poor job, but this just wasn't necessary. All you really did was, you took, these are 3 of the greatest games ever made, and you just put them through some fucking, like some shitty assembly line, you know, and you kind of like tarnish their image a little bit with this, right? I mean, and I just felt like it was completely unnecessary. They could have done a cash grab with something else, man. Go fucking remaster Max Payne 3 or the Max Payne's, or you know, like, I mean, just something. Like, I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, but from what I've seen, from everything that you guys have said, yeah, I think it's bad, and I like the fact that Rockstar is getting heat for it because, you know, they've already been getting heat for this whole Grand Theft Auto 5 thing, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is like Skyrim, right? Stop buying it, and they won't keep bringing out new versions.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. It's like you can keep joking around about it all you want, but people just keep fucking buying it. Like, you can't bitch about it and then keep buying it. It's how many copies of the game are sold now? 150 million? Or even more?
I think it's sold more than the PS2 itself is sold.
Yeah, it did. That's right.
Yeah.
So what is that? Like 200 million or some shit? I don't know. But the point is like it's ridiculous. So stop giving them an excuse to make this shit, and they won't make it. But unfortunately, it's not going to work. And this is what happens if you keep supporting shit.
You're gonna get shit in return.
You're gonna get shit in return, and at some point, this is what happens, and it's really sad.
And I guarantee you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, like, I have literally zero interest in this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like a big collecting junkie. Like, one of my buddies, he told me, Dash on Twitter. He's like, well, what if it had like a collector's edition, steelbook, blah blah blah. I'm like, I really don't give a shit, dude. I have literally zero interest in this. Like, I mean, there's nothing about this that appeals to me. If it appeals to you, I'm happy for you. You know, I mean, if you like Grand Theft Auto and you feel like this is your thing, you know, that's fine. But yeah, I feel like they should have just kept these games where they were. You know, I mean, keep them. You know, there's some games that are sacred. You know, and especially like, you know, with, like I was saying, the feelings that they invoke and all this other shit, and you should have just kept them where they are, man. Just move on to your next projects. Like, they were really trying to dig into people's nostalgia, you know, with this, and it just backfired splendidly. At least I think so. Yeah.
And the sad thing is that, like, you know, to your point, I guarantee you that this game will be number one on MPD.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. All this bitching and whatever, it's still gonna be the fucking the bestseller.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. But yeah, man, that's Macho. What about you? Any closing thoughts?
No, I'm just enjoying it off on the sidelines. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it off on the sidelines, man, because it's Rockstar. It's so disappointing. I think is what it is. It's just so disappointing for me, especially from the PS2 generation, where like they had hit after hit after hit. Even if I didn't really beat all of them, I have played them because I would rent them at Blockbuster. So I do have fond memories with cousins on these games, and even if GTA 5 didn't really hit off with me, and just them prolonging that, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, and while I did like that game, I feel like the gameplay was just, it was stuck in the early 2000s in terms of movement, like how sluggish everything felt. I hated how that game like played, like the controls and everything. But regardless, I think like Rockstar just they didn't peak, you know? They did not peak yet. And I feel like they've just been stagnant for like the past like generation. It's upsetting to see because they're talented, and all we've seen from them the past couple of years is people leaving the studio. So
yeah,
I feel like this definitive edition was absolutely another warning sign to fans and to people that this is not the same Rockstar, and it's going to be a while before they recover. So GTA 6, you know, don't count on that. Red Dead Redemption 3, don't count on that. Bully 2, don't count on that.
Right.
We expect their next release to be Red Dead Redemption Remastered, which may or may not be hit because they don't have enough resources. And if you're even lucky, Red Dead Redemption 2 60 frames boost on PS5.
No cap, Macho. No cap. I'm satisfied with a remaster of Undead Nightmare.
I mean,
like
I would too. I'm with you there, but you know, after all this, do you really think they're going to put enough resources into one of what people consider one of their best games of all time? Let alone, you know, they didn't even do it for the grand trilogy that basically hallmarked on PS2. You think they're really going to do it for one of the best Western games ever made now?
Nah, cap. That's the cap. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
So that's where that's why I laugh in this situation. That's why I make fun of Rockstar and I make fun of all those people that are legit capping for this definitive edition, because you're all just playing yourselves. So I can only laugh at it. And at the same time be disappointed by everything that's going on. So
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was making a point the other day. I'm like, don't fucking talk about overpriced remasters or whatever it is again from now on. You know what I mean?
did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just it's pathetic, honestly. You know what I mean? We've seen some remasters or remakes. You know what I mean? Some people talk about remakes, they're unnecessary, but some of the remakes we've seen have been incredible. You know what I mean? And then even some remasters have been excellent. You know, look at Mass Effect. Mass Effect was, I don't know, Mass Effect kind of like teetered into that remake/remaster area, but I think it was more on the remaster, you know, because considering that, you know, they kept a lot of the same assets, you know, but they really improved everything else around it. And that itself was an excellent remaster. You know, I mean, that is, you know, it's just, don't fucking complain about this anymore. You know, if you support this, good for you, but don't complain about overpriced remasters anymore. You know what I mean? Especially from, like, Nintendo. I mean, shit, man. Look at Nintendo's Mario All-Stars fucking, remaster. You know, that was terrible. You know what I mean? That was terrible. But people still bought it. Right? I mean,
I'm sorry, I bought it, but
no, so did I. I'm not gonna lie to you. So did I. You know, like, I mean, but I've been the first Nintendo game. So, dude, like, I was all about collecting Nintendo games, you know, like Switch games. But once Animal Crossing released, I was kind of like, all right, you know, I'm like, I think I'm done right now. And the next game that I bought for the Switch and turned on my Switch for was Metroid Dread, because I'm a huge Metroid fan. You know what I mean? Since that. So my point is like, it's, you know, you can't keep complaining about this stuff, but then keep supporting it. You know what I mean? Definitely. And Nintendo's the masters of that. I mean, look, man, you tell me like Rockstar and these other companies aren't looking. They're like, look at the fucking minimal effort from Nintendo for like Skyward Sword. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there was less effort for Skyward Sword than there was for the definitive trilogy, to be honest with you. But that was still received better.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy, and actually, I wanted to bring this up really quick. Was so like, people don't. First of all, don't play this thing on Switch. Heaven forbid you play this game on Switch.
Oh man,
God bless those people. God bless those people. But like.
Version.
Yeah, but also don't get in a plane and you know, fly up to look at like the entire map, because Moe, do you remember that one map in Halo 3? I think it's called Sandbox. It was like the perfect place for Forge, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like seeing people flying up in GTA to look at the entire map reminded me of like making a little level in Forge and Sandbox in the air and zooming all the way up to the top to see that it's just like a big like square in you know, the sky basically. Yeah, it looks like that in GTA. It looks awful. Like it looks so bad. Yeah, it's hilarious.
As much as you know, we clown on the re-releases of GTA 5. I'm just gonna say, just play GTA 5.
Yeah.
Just play.
Or just play the originals.
It's hard to remaster. It's hard to remaster old game design, man. It's hard to do that. Like, you can't. Like, it just. That's why I said just keep it in the past. Yeah. Unless you want to just completely go a full-blown remake.
Exactly.
You know, if your next major Grand Theft Auto game is a full-blown remake of one of the older ones, fine. Yeah. Right? That's fine, but at least like you're introducing newer concepts into it. And you can't just fucking slap a shiny coat of paint on this and then just add a reticle or whatever it is and say, oh look, we upgraded the combat system. Like, no, man. Yeah. The old designs in it are still very apparent and just yeah.
That's a really good point. Like, I think you should just go all the way instead of just like, you know, dipping your toe 100%. In the water. You might as well just go all the way. You know, none of this half-ass stuff.
No, but it really introduces that fine line, right, between like what do you remake and what do you remaster.
Right.
You know, I mean, like for instance, like we always talk about, you know, like Bloodborne, right? Let's say Bloodborne. Bloodborne, everybody calls for a remaster or a 60 FPS boost or whatever it is. Bloodborne was released 6 years ago. To me, Bloodborne warrants a remaster, right? It's still a beautiful game. Give it a little bit of polish, you know, give it some performance updates, fine. But because the game design in Bloodborne is still relevant to this day, like, I mean, even for the, you know, because it's a From Software game, so their mechanics haven't really changed much since Bloodborne. It's still relevant. People still play it, and people still enjoy it. But then when you get to something like this, where it's been a long time, you can't remaster old design. Like, it's just old. You know what I mean? So you have to fucking remake by that point. If you're talking over a decade, it's got to be a remake, man.
Think about we were just talking about before the show, Resident Evil 2 remake and 3. Right? Could you imagine? Can you imagine 100%. if they did just a remaster?
That?
Yeah, it'd be awful. I wouldn't want to play that.
Oh my god.
That sounds awful. That sounds, dude. No, and Jay, one of your favorites, Shadow of the Colossus. That was a fantastic way of bringing an old game into the new world, and although it does have its old feel, it's new enough to where it justifies repurchasing it and making it the way it was made, and as you mentioned, especially RE2. RE2 remake, that is the definition of remake. And remaster, I think that's where the muddy waters start to kick in, because a lot of people look at remaster and they start calling some like minor upgrades remasters, when in reality, at this point, I don't even know what a remaster is. Because sometimes you make a remaster and it's like in the gray area between a remake and a remaster or a reboot. I don't know. In this case, they should have went all in. And again, here's the thing, man. They got that GTA 5 money. They got the shark, as I call it, the shark money. And I'm sure that if they focused in on one of these three, I don't think they should have done three. If they were going to remake, they should have done, I think, San Andreas, which is, I think it's the widely most popular one out of the three, I think. Or at least the most revolutionary in terms of open world.
I think you're right. I think you're right, because it had a lot more depth to it than people gave it, than what's on the surface.
Exactly. And I think if they went all in my case, on San Andreas, dude, that was a wrap. They could have justified even a $60 purchase with a full-blown remake. Full-blown. And Macho said he held his hand up and he mentioned he apologized. I'm gonna apologize too. I also bought the Mario collection. But here's the thing, man.
God damn.
Here's the man. I criticize Nintendo, but
I bought them because it's my first time playing these games. Honestly.
Hey man, I hadn't played it since the Wii. My Wii broke, and I had no other way of playing them. And hey man, I had to. On these streets, it's hard on these streets to be playing Nintendo games, so I needed to buy it.
You're right.
But when Nintendo, hey, I acknowledge that although I criticize them, I'll buy some of their very questionable products, but I know what I'm getting myself into. What I don't like is when people complain knowing well what they're getting themselves into. And they know what the company did. Or don't criticize and act like you didn't criticize. If you went in, bro, I'm going to go to the Best Buy, I'm going to say, yeah, bro, I talked shit about this game, but I'm buying it anyways. Like, I'll own up to it. I know what I'm about. But, come on, man, don't stop capping. Twitter, you be capping. What's wrong?
But yeah, man, I think that wraps up. We've said everything that we needed to say about GTA. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this top 10 PS most played games on PS5. And I guess that can kind of lead into our big topic of, just in general, what do we think about the PS5 after 1 year? It had a 1 year anniversary on the 12th, and so wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the top 10 games, and on top of just how's the console for you guys after 1 year?
Well, what are the top 10 games? Do you have them on you? Because I only briefly saw them.
So I know Fortnite was number one. But I'm gonna bring up the list right now. So Macho, distract the people.
So PS5, Sony, Jim Ryan, he's doing his thing, man. He's on his shout out to I Learn's podcast. Jamaican Jim got his yacht. Because PS5 had a miraculous year, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll get more into that, as the podcast goes on.
Right.
But
I got you.
I think the top 10 games. What would they be?
All right, so. Oh man. Okay, so number 1 was Fortnite. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 3, FIFA 21. 4, NBA 2K21. 5, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 6, Destiny 2. 7, MLB The Show 21. 8 is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 9 is Demon's Souls, and number 10 is NBA 2K22.
My goodness.
So, I look at that list and I'm like, how are people surprised? Like, when you look at the MPD charts, like, are these not the games that are, like, typically at the top for all platforms?
Always.
So, like, I was just a little confused at, like, people's,
No, according to
reaction.
Kotaku, though, PS5 owners don't play their games.
Yeah,
Don't play their
apparently.
exclusives, according to Kotaku. But that's
Apparently.
neither here nor there.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Kotaku.
think the list is interesting. Just seeing what games people are playing. I really love seeing Demon Souls is in that list. That's really, really cool.
Sure.
But yeah, Moe, what do you? Does this list sound about right when you expect to hear like what are the most played games in terms of hours on the platform?
Is he there?
Hold on.
Oh shit, my bad. Yeah, here I am.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry,
You're
man, I had the mic muted. That's my bad.
good.
No, I think it does sound about right. The majority of the games that are played by people on these consoles, we always want to think that they're first party games, but they're not.
Right.
I mean, it's third party games. It's and that really just shows you that the casual market itself, we are dwarfed. We're dwarfed. The hardcore market is dwarfed by the casual market. The Maddens, the FIFAs, the Fortnites, and all this other stuff. So it doesn't surprise me, seeing what is there. Spider-Man doesn't surprise me. Spider-Man is a huge seller.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always going to be expected. But if you really look at like the sales themselves, of like Ratchet and Clank, or the biggest seller so far for the PS5 has been Spider-Man, because Spider-Man appeals to the hardcore and it appeals to the casual, which is why
Yeah.
it sold so much. But outside of that, if you look at like Ratchet and Clank, it's at like 1.5 million, out of like how many PS5s are out there right now? Like 15 million,
Right.
something like that. So that's like a 10% attachment. I mean, so none of the, like I was saying, it doesn't surprise me. Third party carries these consoles, whether we like to believe it or not. We always look forward to the first party games, whether it's on Xbox or whether it's PlayStation. PlayStation's done a great job, this year with their first party output. But we're still waiting like for that next level. We're still waiting for that. We're waiting for, honestly, like for next year. Like I'm already looking ahead to next year, man. I'm already looking ahead to Horizon Forbidden West. I'm fucking damn well sure I'm looking ahead to Ragnarok.
Right.
So
Amen.
yeah, but this year, yeah, they've done a good job with their first party output. They actually done a great job, to keep it afloat. And right now, for the time being, until February, they're kind of just letting the third parties just ride through, and carry the consoles themselves. I had these conversations before. I'm like, because every year, like last generation, we got so used to just it being one-sided, with the PlayStation. Every year, every holiday, there was always something bigger. There was always, a few huge games every year. And now, obviously, because of COVID and because of access to these consoles and, because of all the delays that have happened to the production itself with all of these games, I think we need to get in this mindset that we're not going to get these games as fast as we used to, we got really spoiled. And on top of that, I always remind people that last generation, don't forget, it was one-sided, and there was a lot of years too where the consoles themselves, both of them, especially in the holiday season, when you had Call of Duty and when you had Assassin's Creed and whatever, triple or third party games carry these consoles.
Oh yeah.
Like they carry them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why people are always surprised when they, or at least I think they're surprised whenever they see this. So
Yeah.
no, it doesn't surprise me at all, man. I think they're doing a good job so far. They've definitely, the brand itself is really, it's huge, and that's why they always stay number one, whether it's in console sales or whatever it is, but. They need to, yeah. So I know they need to amp it up, especially this year. In the PR area, we can all attest to the fact that they've really taken a step back. The competition's really stepped it up. They've done a very good job with PR and the messaging to the fans, and accessibility and all this other stuff. Just making things a lot easier, and or whatever you want to call it, like consumer friendly. So, I think next year will definitely be a step up as well. we can only talk about, how good their games were or how many consoles they sold. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter how many consoles they sold, right? Like, I mean, what we care about is what they give me to the console. Keep giving me reasons to turn it on, keep giving me reasons to use it, keep giving me reasons to play it. And that's what they're going to keep doing, man. But I don't even know if I ventured off topic. I'm sorry if I did, because I tend to do that.
No, you're good.
But no, none of that list surprises me, honestly.
Yeah.
If you even look at the NPD on the Xbox side, Xbox has had some good games this year when they're about to, they just had Forza, they had Psychonauts, they have, Flight Simulator, it's very niche, but, if you want to consider that, and then now you have Halo that's coming up, and if that does well, they're going to end the last 6 months of the year on a very, very high note.
Yeah.
So they're actually, they started out slow, in the games department, but they're ending the year on a very high note. And with PlayStation, they started the first 6 months on a very high note. Demon's Souls and Ratchet and Clank and Returnal, and obviously you had Deathloop in July. And now they're going to kind of end it on a slower note. So, like we were saying, it's a balance. Every year these companies, they kind of like, one has a high and one has a low. And it seems like in this second half of the year, it's going to be third parties, man. Third parties are definitely going to carry it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think about I think about 2019 for PlayStation. That year was Days Gone, Concrete Genie, and Death Stranding. So that felt like a pretty dry year. 2014 as well. I don't remember any first party games that PlayStation put out in 2014. So obviously there's going to be the ebbs and flows, the times where both of these companies are firing on all cylinders, and then there's going to be periods of time where it's just going to be completely quiet. And then that's, like you said, that is where the Battlefields need to come in to fill that void, or the Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or whatever. And back to the list, those are the games that are designed to keep people there for, hundreds of hours, for the war zones and, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not surprising that these third party titles are the ones that, that are the ones that people are playing the most.
Yeah, look at that list, and that'll tell you why so many developers or so many publishers are trending towards that, in that direction.
Yeah.
Because that's what brings money, man. If you, we're talking about MPD. If you really look at Sony's, Sony's quarters, or the quarters that they have, they still make the most in terms of revenue, every quarter. But look how much of that revenue comes from microtransactions.
Exactly.
You can even look at Xbox themselves too, dude. It's services. Microtransactions, this shit makes them so much money, and they know it, and that's why they keep trending towards it. Now we're lucky that both of them, Xbox shifted their perspective now, away from last generation, and they know what, they are correcting it, and they're starting to, we're slowly starting to see them bring all of these, fulfill the promises that that they've been making since this generation started, with all of the studios and all the output that they have coming. And then Sony's just still doing what Sony does, and we're lucky that we're still getting these first party games, these narratively driven experiences that we all love. And
100%.
Otherwise, man, it's just going to keep trending towards this fucking live service shit. And to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of that, but it's what makes money. That's what makes money.
100%. Yeah. Like you said, you guys are speaking beautifully on all of that, because that's why it gets me a little upset, man, when people are really touting some of these games, these narrative-driven single-player experiences that really flesh out kind of the gaming experience in ways that we haven't really experienced before. Then it keeps evolving, but people want to peg them as one and dones, and that's such a dangerous narrative, in my opinion, because at the other end of the stick is what you're seeing that's in the top of the most played PlayStation games that they listed, which is the Fortnite, which is the Call of Duties, which is going to be the Minecrafts, which is going to be all these free to play services, and that while they have their place at for us people that are in the hardcore aspect, that's not what we cling on to, man. That's not what we love per se about gaming. But the fact that on the other side of that, what is in this top 10, it makes me happy, because we do see the Miles Morales Spider-Man, which I get it. He's like an iconic character, so that's kind of just like a different kind of perspective there when it comes to it's a character that that's worldwide known. But Demon's Souls is also on there, which I think is really interesting, because that's such a hardcore audience. But it also, I think it was such a great PS5 presenter that a lot of people just said to themselves like they can't miss this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see Demon Souls up there as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. Oh yeah.
What since we're talking about it's been 1 year, what has been sort of your favorite thing about this generation? That could be I don't know, like a new feature, the fact that all games are like 60 FPS now, it could be a game. What has really stood out for you guys, so far being 1 year into this generation?
The
Gotta be
controller.
honest, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
the DualSense Macho, like I know how much you always hail the adaptive and the feedback. Like, go into depth with that.
Yeah, so the thing is, when the consoles were, they were having these next generation consoles, the one thing that I always wanted for in like a next gen system was to enhance the immersive experience. That's why I love games. That's why I get so invested in them. And one of the best ways to do that is through the soul of a game, and more or less that's being the controller, right? The experience between the controller and the player has to be 1-on-1, or else you're just not gonna really be enjoying that game as much. Or at least I have a cognitive dissonance between you and the experience that you're playing. So that's why I praise the DualSense controller, because it's that next step forward. While it might not be completely perfect, and all these developers not be completely gun ho on a DualSense features, whether it be the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedbacks, it's that next step forward that I've wanted personally in my next gen experience. And the testament to that is a game like Control, where I played on PS4. I played through maybe 3 or 4 hours of it, and I just wasn't feeling it. But I picked it up on PS5, played through it, and just through the DualSense itself, just having different, having the adaptive triggers be different for every gun, having the character's footsteps being felt in your controller, that kind of stuff made me so immersed into the game that I went on and beat it. Where on PS4, I was just like, whatever. I'll just play it some other time. I don't really care. And the DualSense made me want to play and complete that game. So is that kind of experience where I'm looking for it in more and more games, because it absolutely just enhances my experience. It makes me more invested into a game and what I want. So that I can't talk about the DualSense enough, because whenever I hear a developer saying, yeah, we're enhancing our game through the controller, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm down. Death's Door, you're doing that? Cool, I'm in. Hades, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I've had a few friends. I have a few friends who would pre-order, like Kevin, for instance. One of my podcast guys. I remember when Alan Wake came out, he had initially pre-ordered it, the remaster. He pre-ordered it on Xbox, and then when he heard about the DualSense integration, he's like, oh, you know what? Screw it. He's like, let me just get it on PS5. So he ended up getting it, and he was a little bit let down by the integration, because the first party games are really what really drive home the DualSense integration, and you get spoiled from that. So the expectation, would be you start expecting all the games to use it, and some games do it well, like Jordan, he ended up getting Metro Exodus. He got it on the PS5, and he loved the DualSense integration. He loved it. He said they did such a fantastic job with it there, and so I really give credit to the devs that really, the devs that really push that, or at least like emphasize it to enhance the experience, because it's amazing, man. If done right, when it's done right, it's really, really cool.
And it's so hard to pull off too, man. Like I said, like the control in your hand is such a device of getting into an unconsciousness of where you are in a game, And the thing is, when something's wrong, you notice it immediately. So like that kind of extra legwork is so appreciated.
Yeah, they have videos that show like how they program. I forgot which developer it was, like how they programmed certain things for the DualSense. And it's really freaking fascinating, man. If you get a chance, check that out on YouTube. It's really, really cool how they do it.
I think
for work, man.
Oh, definitely.
Work.
I think for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing how GT7 is going to implement the DualSense controller, 'Cause I feel like we haven't really seen that in a racing game so far. Like I think maybe Dirt 5 used the controller a little bit. I'm not too sure about that, but like yeah, in terms of like a first party studio, like yeah, feeling the tires against like gravel or whatever. Like I'm really interested to see like how that's gonna feel. Because I think similarly to like Ratchet and Clank, I think that's probably gonna be like one of the better implementations.
Oh yeah, Ratchet and Clank, that had an amazing DualSense features with it, with the guns and everything. Even like one of the guns having the button emit a sound when you held it down.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
They did a good job with that, and if you remember Astrobot itself, when you're talking about terrain that you're walking on, or whether it's sand or rocks or whatever. I mean, if they can get it to like that, because you're talking about GT7, I'm sure they'll be able to land it, man. And just making you feel what you're walking on or what you're driving on is really a testament to the developers themselves. I mean, that's just awesome. And it really just adds more to the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm definitely keeping an eye on GT7 now that I played Forza Horizon 5, and I'm like actually liking this experience. And I kind of want to see what GT7 does to not particularly differentiate itself, but evolve itself, I guess, from what fans have seen and what newcomers are seeing.
Remember, Gran Turismo is a sim.
Yeah,
like it's a sim, so it's going to offer you a different experience. I mean, it's beautiful to look at and whatever, but yeah, if you're not like hardcore into cars, I mean, you can't play it, bro.
It's gonna be a barrier. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a barrier to cross for sure.
And it's definitely more of like a grind in terms of like as opposed to Forza, where I think like what I've heard from Forza is like essentially you can start with like a race car and you can carry that all the way to like the end of your playthrough.
Yeah.
But with GT, like just for example, let's say like I doubt that a Beetle is in GT, but like just for an example purposes, like you start with like a shitty Beetle and then you have to work your way up to like the sports car. So like it's more of a grind in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But so definitely DualSense, like you guys said, that's definitely been like a highlight for me. In terms of games, man, like obviously Demon's Souls was awesome, but Returnal is still like my de facto, I think, PS5 game. Like I really, really enjoyed Returnal, and and then of course like the launch lineup was to me probably like the best launch lineup the PlayStation has ever had. Just like in terms of not only like quality but like variety as well, right? Like Spider-Man, Demon's Souls, The Pathless, which is a game not people, a lot of people don't really talk about, but like The Pathless was like really, really good.
And your top one, Destruction All-Stars.
Hey man, let's not talk about
Sackboy, man. Sackboy was awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about more positive things, man. Come on now. But yeah, Sackboy, mad underrated, man. It was really, really fun.
I played it myself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But all in terms of first party alone, that's not even taking into account the third party support as well at launch. But just in terms of PlayStation Studios, yeah, there was a lot of great stuff there. But yeah, I think for me the launch lineup was, and then the Ratchet and Returnal following shortly thereafter has been.
And
like,
Deathloop, right? Deathloop, right? You like Deathloop a lot.
Yeah, Deathloop was good one, right?
Well, y'all bring up Destruction All Stars, y'all bringing up Deathloop, what's going on, man?
Yeah, man, you're the host. Come on, we gotta bust your balls somehow.
Yeah, man. What about you guys? Games. What's been some of the standouts for you?
What you asked, what's made this specific piece of hardware so memorable and so that stand out? And honestly, the fact that I can play games from the PS4 that back then loading times were actually part of the experience, whether that be negative or positive. Right now, I can jump into Witcher and it's almost non-existent. Like the map, it loads so quick. It's whether that be open world with Witcher, whether that be with even Hitman, the loading screens, like that's my big thing with PS5. Zero to no loading screens almost ever when it comes to the massive ones, the minute ones, the 2 or 3 minute ones, and performance mode all across the board. When you give me two types of modes, quality or performance, I'm already loving the piece of hardware. Why? Because although I always go to performance, you're giving me options. You're giving me ways that I can experience a game in two completely different ways. Because to be honest, like Spider-Man, when you compare the fidelity mode to performance mode, dude, it is insane the differences that you will see. The way that the game plays, the way that the game feels and looks. But when it comes to games that truly stood out, and I'm truly honest, from everything that I've played, and I think I have played the big PS5 titles like Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, Demon's Souls, I truly still feel like Returnal has the best of all worlds in terms of how the DualSense is integrated, how the visuals are, the loading screens, the concept, because it is a game where you, well, not in Jay's case. Jay's died like 7 times. He likes to bring it up. But
Bro.
when it comes to
we gotta clear the air right now, man. I don't even bring it up that much. All right, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Right.
Listen. How big is that plaque in your room? I just gotta ask.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty damn big, man. Not gonna lie.
Well, pause.
It's massive.
Oh, man, come on now.
Come on, bro. But to be honest, I think Returnal. That's still. I haven't. Here's the thing. I'm still in the last level. I haven't beaten it, but it's the experience has been enough. So where it's my PS5 game, the PS5 game for me for so far, and a close second, Ratchet and Clank for sure. The way that it looks, that it runs, that the DualSense works with the weapons and the vehicles and all the abilities, everything just works so well. It synergizes so well. But out of the two, my taste lies more with the Returnal, and because I guess I'm a masochist. I that's why I'm a Souls junkie. I live for the reward. I know the pain is a lot, but when you get to that final hit, or you're just by the skin of your teeth, you just kill the boss and you barely just survive. That's what it's all about. I love that adrenaline. I love that. That's why Bloodborne, Sekiro, Returnal, they stand out. Demon's Souls, taking my time because it is a much slower game. As our fellow co-host here, Macho, has mentioned, he even sold his copy because he just couldn't go through it.
I was definitely not about it.
Man. But here's the thing, man. This year, I was able to re-experience Dark Souls 3 through the PS5, and that was
you and me,
magical.
man. Yeah, that was
magical.
It was a ton of fun.
Macho was on a street corner with a tattered blanket over his shoulders, a beanie, his beard grown out, holding out a shaking hand, holding out a copy of Demon's Souls, begging for people to take it.
I got some good money on that one, man. Let's just say. So I'm sure GameStop customers will be very happy with that.
Hey, please, sire, take this copy upon my hand. I do not require such a slow-paced game. But yeah, man. It's been. Here's the thing, man. I think we mentioned it around the summer. One of the first top 10, or not top 10, our first 10 episodes or 20. That after experiencing the PS5, although it is a phenomenal piece of hardware, people should wait. If they can't get their hands on it on retail price, I think they should wait because they're not necessarily missing out on anything that requires them to just urgently play it. Because here's the thing, you can get the PS5 now or you can get it next year. But by the time you get it, if you get it later, dude, you're going to have a library, and that's good. Backlogs, I'm putting a positive spin on them. Because honestly, man, when you're bored, you got options. That's the good thing. What do you prefer? You prefer to got options, or you prefer to have like just one mediocre game after beating like all the 10 out of 10s? I'm all about that backlog, just to find the reason why I have like 20 plus games without completion. But man, that's Nintendo's fault, and PlayStation's, because too many games, man. I can't keep up with all of them. But yeah, man.
I think I think we're all kind of in consensus that it's been a pretty good first year, and 2022 is looking even better, man.
I mean, in terms of games and I would say for the most part, I think PlayStation really turned it around when it came to just their communication in the past like 5 or 6 months, because Jay, that me and Walt were definitely harping on them for just the lack of communication, lack of a presence, and it felt like there was just, it really felt like an empty husk of a company, just really just kind of cruising by. But it's in the past couple months they really delved into being more out in the open, having more interviews, and really kind of setting the tone for what they're going for this generation, which is what my biggest question was. And I can say by the end of this year, I'm happy with like where PlayStation is and where they're going, and I'm excited for where they're going. If they could expand more on my personal need, obviously, and obviously it's something that I've been harping on for a little bit, and I'm not going to keep pushing, obviously, and then now I'm not going to be up in Twitter and PlayStation's Twitter DMs saying like, "Where's back compat at?" Where's the virtual console, the PS3 and PS2 and all that stuff. But, like, I would love for that stuff to come in, but it's overall what I'm mostly looking for is games that can take advantage of this hardware, and we're getting that, and I'm absolutely thrilled to experience that, especially when it comes to games like Astro's Playroom or Miles Morales. Even though that's a cross-gen title, it's an excellent excellent PS5 version that just plays beautifully, and like you can jump into every now and then. And the remaster, with the weird Peter Parker redesign.
Yeah, with the Tom Holland-esque Peter Parker.
Yeah. And I will disagree with you, Well, actually. I think if you could snag a PS5, you're looking for one, and it's in your radar, pull the plug, and at least if you really want it, obviously make an effort to even find it, because I think the features alone in the PS5 and just the convenience factor of everything, of how quick things are, how quick things load, the download and upload speed are way better. These sharing features are just markedly improved from PS4 as well.
100%.
And just I think just the options, right, of what you're getting with each game, having a graphical mode and a performance mode that more or less run really well with each other, and it gives you that extra replayability factor. I have a reason to get back to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, because I could play in quality mode that plays in a lock 30 frames or 45 frames, I think, if you have like a LG C1 or CX TV. And same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy,
It feels like the gap between this might be controversial, but it feels like the gap between consoles and PC is getting a little bit smaller, just in terms of like the number of options that you have. That you can kind of tweak it more so than ever. I feel like you can tweak games on consoles to like exactly like what you want, or that best suits like how you want to play it.
I mean, I as someone who has a PC, I would have to say that there's definitely more of.
No, I know. I'm not saying that gap. I'm not saying that gap is like
it's
really
not small
close.
by any means.
I'm just saying more so than like the start of the PS4 generation. You kidding me, man?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Like because what I can do on Forza Horizon 5 versus probably what you can do on the Xbox is probably vastly different. As far as like with the experience, or same thing when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, like the amount of tweaks you can do on PC that can make it the way you want to play is really great. Where on PS5, you're stuck with a graphical mode that's 30 frames in 4K, native 4K, and it looks beautiful. It's actually worth playing through. And then you have the performance mode that's only at 1080p and at 60 frames, which is a little odd, but like on PC, obviously you could do something different. But regardless, I think you're all right. Where like the options of how you want to play your games is markedly improved from last generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it for PS5 year one in review. They also said on the blog post that PlayStation Studios has 25 titles in development right now.
Exclusive.
And some of them are new IPs, brand new IPs.
Yeah, it's like over half.
Half
IPs. of them. So very excited to see some of those get announced. Especially with the new studios that they acquired. So it's gaming is in such a good place right now, man. It's so it feels like everyone is like starting to or are about to hit their stride, and that I feel like everything is really gonna like the fruits of like everything that started, like the seeds that were planted in last generation, is gonna start hitting like next year. I feel like I don't know,
Yeah.
like next year seems like it's gonna be
And
fucking insane.
And here's the thing, man. You mentioned gaming being in a good place, and I think it was either Mo or Doctor or Macho that mentioned it, that we're spoiled,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you see people, whether that be complaining or whether that be, demanding more. Honestly, all of that, it's extra. Unless we're talking about companies and their decisions, that's more a bit more serious topics. But when it comes to games and gaming and accessibility and options, and dude, you have a plethora of options. There's so many games. There's games for everyone, literally for every single type of person. And same with PC. You have so many options. It doesn't have to be a $5,000 PC. It can literally be a 1,000 to and less PC that can run you like modern games. You don't need state of the art, technology to run your. You don't need a 3090 to run your games. Like there's options. PS5, you got your digital edition, physical edition. Xbox, same with that one. You got there's options. I think it's the best we've had, one of the best years, or one of the best just moments in history that comes to video games, and the options and accessibility for everything. Um, can it get better? Absolutely. But I think we've hit the margin already where new generations or new consoles, we're not going to see the stark differences that we saw maybe from 2D to 3D, from 2D Mario to 64.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see
Mm-hmm.
that stark difference. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think in a while. I think the next big thing, probably VR. Probably that's where, all the big changes we're going to see in the next maybe 20 years. Maybe we go Sword Art Online, we put a Nerf gear on, and we transport into a game. I think that, being able to submerge yourself into that type of video gaming, that'll be the next big leap. Because even when they announced the new Unreal Engine and they showed, like all the triangles and all the lights and all the new technology, it looks beautiful. But by no means is that next big leap in graphical fidelity.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
from at that point you just get abandoned, which is just real people. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not a video game, and I don't like really like actual people in a video game. I want a video game.
So the last thing that we should touch on before we end the show is so like in regards to the 1 year anniversary, what is one thing that you think could be improved on, or yeah, just that for PlayStation, for the PS5, something that you hope can be better in the future. Yeah, what do you guys have an answer for that, or are you okay with
Uh,
everything as it is right
no,
now, or
I would like them to be more. We were talking about the PR, right? Like, I mean,
right?
the majority of the hype for Sony's games is generated by its own fans, because of our background with them and our experience with them, like for God of War or whatever. But I feel like their communication with the fans themselves, especially when you compare it to their competition, man. I'm not talking about Nintendo, obviously. Nintendo fucking sucks. I mean, I really wish that they would be more, personable and just communicate more and just be more, less robotic, less suit, and
More
more
fun.
like, yeah, just more fun, I mean, I really feel like that would help out their, I mean, not financially, I mean, but I feel like that would help out their brand from an optics perspective even more. I mean, if whatever's working for them, clearly, I mean, they know what they're doing, but from that end, like, I really do think that it would, it would garner more, goodwill, I guess, if you want to say,
Yeah.
and just throw more bones out there, man. Like, I mean, it's we started out this generation, like when you look at the hardware, you're like, okay, the Series X has the stronger hardware, the PS5 has the better controller, the PS5, the PlayStation library's always been, rich and expansive, and now we're at a point where, we're seeing the competition amp it up over the past year, and we're seeing them really, start to drive that home. I mean, like, hey guys, like, this is what we're doing, this is what we bought, this is what we're working on. We want you to be excited. The communication is there. Whereas, with Sony, I mean, they've always been, just just wait for us. Wait for us and we'll talk to you. Wait for us and we'll tell you. You know what I mean? Just get fans involved more. Get people involved more. Like, generate more excitement for your games and for your brand. Instead of these fucking, PS blog entries, or like this interview with Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst. Like, I mean, it's, I wish they would do that. Just make it, just make that more lively. Other than that, like, I mean, it's Sony, man. They know what they're doing. They're trending in the right direction. Their library's going to be there. They're going to keep bringing out the games, and they're going to keep pumping the games. And bring shooters. I think they need to. I think they need to diversify a little bit. I love their their output. As much as any other person does. From the Sony side, and I really like. I love the diversity that they have. Especially with like Returnal, for instance, and Demon's Souls. They had very, very good diversity in their releases this year, but still, like, I mean, I do think it's time for them to also like start branching out into the the FPS department, or the rich, expensive RPGs, like first party rich, expensive RPGs. I think they need to just invest into that more, because we know that whatever is coming out from their already from their established IPs are going to be great. And I'm hoping that these 25 new, for PlayStation Studios games, several of them, are going to at least fulfill that. Whether it's shooters or whether it's, big, a great RPG or whatever it is. Right. So, that's really what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. What about you, Macho? Do you kind of echo those sentiments or what?
Yeah, and especially when it comes to the communication aspect of it, like I think Mo really hit the nail on the head there. When it comes to you know your position in this industry, you know how much hype your brand is, you know how much worldwide appeal your brand has. Have fun with it, man. Have fun with it, because the thing is, when it comes to Xbox and why, like, I'd envy like what they're doing on their sides, because they can get hype and they can get excitement generated just because their Twitter got locked down for like a number of hours last night. And a lot of people were just like that. They were trending. Yeah, they were trending on Twitter, being like, "It could be an announcement, it could be a review, it could be this." Like,
I fell for it. I'm like, oh, this has to be intentional. I'm like the whole Halo shit. Multiplayer getting shadow dropped. Oh, they're gonna do something, and it's just like, oh, we lost our account. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's like legit. Aaron Greenberg was playing into it. All these other gaming companies were playing into it. And just having fun with it, that kind of excitement. Again, like, it's such a small bubble, right? But like, that's what get people talking. That's what made headlines, And I get it, we're a small bubble, but the thing is, like, that's not where you're dominating, but that's where you're having fun with your brand. That's what people are appealing to it,
Yes.
If you're coming to the luncheon with a business suit and tie, you know what that guy's about. But if you're coming to luncheon with, a little bit of a plaid shirt, maybe you're wearing some jeans, some sneakers, you're going to gravitate towards more of that person, because you're going to have fun talking to them. And that's why I feel like where PlayStation and Xbox are at right now. And while I can respect the suit and tie, I'm not going to ask you to go to the bar afterwards,
Yeah.
Even if I know that your work is like amazing. So I feel like PlayStation needs to kind of, unbutton the suit and just have some fun with it, man, because they're in a position where their console is selling tremendously. People are more excited for their games than I've ever seen in my time being a PlayStation fan. So it's time to weigh in, man, and really, really knock home with that. And I feel like it's lost potential if they're not doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
So and I mean, there's that aspect, and of course, like the backwards compatibility. I wish. I hope that they expand that more, and I hope it's getting more cleaned up, and it's something that's seriously considering, because they have a legacy that they shouldn't forget, and they shouldn't just leave by the wayside. It's a shame that they are in this position now, because it seemed like they were going to do that, especially in the beginning or in the middle of the year, where they were planning on closing the PS3, PS Vita, and PSP stores just on a whim, without even notifying developers beforehand, and even selling them dev kits at that point. So I think they need to do a complete like overhaul on their view of their legacy and what it means for them. And thankfully, it seems like they're making those steps. So hopefully they could do a little bit more with that, and really drive home on why it's great to own a PlayStation console. Because while it is, games are primarily the reason why it's the best reason to own a console, is not the only reason anymore. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, kind of the environment and the community aspects, which, a lot of other communities are doing better. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with a lot of that. Specifically, I'm not gonna, touch on what you guys had already said, but yeah, definitely the backwards compatibility. Like, I would love to play Sly Cooper on my PS5 without PS Now, without that that horrific latency that I have to deal with whenever I try to play it on PS Now. So yeah, I would really love that. I feel like a lot of my grievances with specifically the PS Store has been rectified recently. Like, they added a new games section, which is cool. They
the indie section, all that stuff too. Yeah,
yeah, it's been revamped. They added a lot of they did a bunch of like small tweaks as well. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like the way that trophies were laid out, like they had it, I think originally when the system came out, it was like it was
horizontal.
Right. Now it's vertical, which is nice. So yeah, a lot of those grievances have been corrected, which I appreciate. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just I want to see more variety in their games, and I guess backwards compatibility as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. What about you, Walt?
Man, I mean, y'all, this is how well this year has been for PS5, to the point where what y'all mentioned, that's pretty much encapsulates just most of the downsides with Sony, where it lies more within variety, having variety, but not with games necessarily. What generations, more PS3, more of the old classic. You mentioned Sly, the collection, which you can get on the Vita, which is still, nice. It's going very strong. I think the Vita still holds up to this day, with its select few titles. But when it comes to any improvements, yeah, it's mostly Sony. I mean, Macho said earlier, we've had our friction with Sony and how they're not talking. They're very business as usual, with their approaches to things. And if there's something that Xbox succeeded this year, is in reminding us that they're video game focused, that they're having fun. And we emphasize that, and I'm going to emphasize it even more. Have fun with your reputation. Have fun with your titles. Have like that'll add a lot to the longevity of how we see you as, like, it's like a friend, Once a friend gets uptight and they're all business as usual, you don't, like Macho said, you're going to ask that friend to go out with you on a drink. You're going to just say, yeah, okay, man, I'll let you know. You don't let them know. Yeah, I'll text you. You never text them. That's Sony right now. If Sony is on my side, they're like, oh, man, I want to have a drink. I'm like, oh, good for you. Bye. I need some pizzazz in my life when it comes to companies trying to sell their product. Apple does that well. They really encapsulate
one second. Well, sorry to interrupt, but Mo has to actually head out, so he's gonna make.
Yeah, I'm sorry, boys. I wish I could stay, man.
We're about to end too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I've went over the wife time. The wife a lot of time. Guys, it was a freaking blast, man. Honestly,
dude.
I hope
pleasure having you.
It's been my pleasure, man. I hope to be on here with you guys again soon, and it was great talking to you.
Go ahead and plug your channel one more time, man.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, Backlog Chronicles podcast. We're live on Sundays at 8 p.m. on 8 p.m. EST on YouTube. So yeah, definitely check us out if you guys get a chance, and like and share and whatever for this channel itself. These guys are awesome. They're very passionate for the PlayStation brand, and I love to see it, man. So good on you guys too. I love what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll link your channel in the description as well, man. But thanks for showing up, man. We appreciate it,
man. Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Mo. I appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
For sure, man. You guys take it easy. Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
But yeah, we're about to get started with these outros as well, man.
100%.
Guys, I wanna thank everyone for tuning in. Once again, as well, thanking our guest, Dr. Moe for showing up, man. We really appreciate it. Check out his channel. We will, as we just said, we will have his channel, his podcast linked in the description below. But yeah, we're gonna get started with these outros. Macho, why don't you kick things off for us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mo, for coming on, man. It was a pleasure. Like I think it's such a great guy. Such a great. So
sir.
passionate about what he does, and is passionate about gaming. Such an avid collector too, man. Go check out his Twitter, which again I'll link in the description of just all the stuff that he collects, man. He's a big Halo fan, so if you're looking for someone to match up with in Halo, that's one guy you want to talk to. But yeah, man, I'm happy to have him on, and it's been a great week in gaming amid all the smoke and whatnot. But it's I'm looking forward to what's next, dude. It's next week was supposed to be in Walker. I'm still recovering from that, but no, it's good because I get to actually take my time now with the Guardians of the Galaxy Platinum, with the second playthrough in Scarlet Nexus, doing a little more on Lost Judgment, and Tales of Arise Platinum too, so it's gonna be. I got myself keeping busy for sure. But yeah, man, just looking forward to the next couple months in gaming, man. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be so definitely stick around on the channel.
Nice. Walt, what about you, man? What's going on this week?
Hey man, gonna be diving my hands more into that Hitman. I'm having such a blast with that game. We'll spend a little bit at the beginning of the podcast. I was in that Ark Society map, and bro, there's so much to do, so many approaches. So I'm gonna have a blast with that. Gonna be copying that SMT5 later, maybe either later today or in the week. But man, I want to get my hands on that. Get you guys some opinions on that, because definitely love talking about the Shin Megami Tensei just universe and Persona. Aside from that, man, just more work. Focusing on more studies and having gaming when I can, and enjoy my backlog, because I'm getting through it, and hopefully more Sekiro when I get my hands on it, maybe later today. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, as for me, definitely more Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm really enjoying this game, and I can't wait to keep playing. It's just so funny, man, because like I don't know about you guys, but like I watched the first Guardians movie in 2014. I could not tell you a single thing that happened in that movie. I don't remember it at all. And I watched it fairly recently for the first time, like maybe like 2019, I think. But I'm already like with these characters, just like instantly within like the first conversation, like the first 20 minutes of this game, I'm like instantly like attached and hooked. So yeah,
that's sad to hear. I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like I really like, especially the second one. I think they're great movies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I watched them now, then maybe, or that, yeah, I would definitely like them. But like I knew nothing about these characters. Like I don't know. It's pretty cool that I don't know, that they have already like managed to like already instill, like they're just like etched into my mind. Like I don't know, like I love them so much already.
Dude, that's awesome here, because there's some great, I mean, top tier conversations that happen between them that completely flesh them out, and you even get to the part where like that made me fall in love with these characters either.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see your other takes on that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so definitely more of Guardians, and I think that's pretty much it, man. I know a couple of podcasts ago I said that I was that Battlefield 2042 was a day one baby, but but that ain't. Hey man, that looking a little rough, man. Looking a little rough. I might have to hold out.
Yikes!
I might have to hold out. But yeah, so I saw a review and the guy was like, "Hey man, you might need to wait 6 months on this one." So
Yikes!
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, at least now you know, man. At least now you know. I think, to be honest, I think you invested in a much better game that's you're gonna enjoy your time more.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. But hey, man, that's gonna do it for the podcast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week. Same time, Saturday, 10:30, roughly. And yeah, peace.